Hello, everybody, and welcome to Turn to Page Season 2, Book 6. GrailQuest, The Realm of Chaos. That is the cleanest intro so far. I'm so glad we found it almost when we're nearly done.
No. You've got two more intros that you get to deliver with
Mess
such
up.
mastery.
I mean, yes. I mean, live with mastery, yes. I'm gonna forget. I'm not gonna go back and figure out what I did for this one. It's like jazz, you know? Doing a strict, clean intro that is easy to understand is a lot like jazz. It's about the clear title that you don't give, right? That's what anyways.
In which case, this is much more straightforward. This is classical.
Exactly. Yep. But Realm of Chaos, I would say, like, the last book was The Kingdom of Horror, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, that city at the end didn't really feel like Kingdom of Horror to me, so I don't even know if we're going to feel like there's much Realm of Chaos going on here anyways. It's like...
Yeah, I mean, we also saved the realm from chaos at the end of the last book, so it feels like... It feels like I have blanked entirely.
It feels like it's lying. There we go. It seems like they hit us with a generic, clean fantasy title, and then they say, "There's a Blogwart's a Blagwart. Oh, I love the color green. Don't you dare get the color red around me." And it's like, okay, this isn't really very Kingdom of Horror, but I'm into it. But why couldn't it have been called the Kingdom of Blog? You know?
By that dint, I imagine that the Realm of Chaos will be a bunch of people sitting calmly around a table playing a board game.
I would love to do that. Oh, wait, I just like board games. That's right. But yeah, if Realm of Chaos, I'm happy to get in. Figure this son of a gun out.
Let's do it.
So take me to the emergency page. What?
Emergency! Oh, hurry, there's not a moment to waste. Grab your pencil and your eraser, some paper, some dice, and let me cast my net spell on your head. What do you mean, who's this? This is Merlin! The wizard Merlin. Oh, there's no time for social chitter-chatter. There's an emergency on! Someone has put a curse on Camelot!
If you know the basic rules of GrailQuest adventuring, like rolling life points, etc., turn directly to page 2. I do want to say, if we got Excalibur, we saved the kingdom with Excalibur, we learned the stat points of Excalibur, and we don't get to swing Excalibur in this book, I'm gonna be mad. So
no, see, the thing is, we learned the stat points of Excalibur because we're going to fight King Arthur and inherit Avalon.
Oh.
And then we get to use the sword in the next book.
In the comments, oh my god, I can't believe Rap spoiled it. No, that's just what happened. I'm sure that's just what happens. All right, page 2.
Avert your eyes! I've no clothes on.
You avert your eyes, but not so quickly that you fail to see the tall, skinny, white-bearded figure stark naked except for boots, long johns, a long-sleeve woolly vest, and a pointed hat with stars embroidered all over it. I would not call that naked, for what it's worth.
You're naked under those 3 layers of clothes! Get decent, man!
Yeah. It's like a cartoon character that can't be seen without their hat because it's their identity. It's like one of those. Like, you can't.
It also directly does evoke that same, American cartoon of the 1960s through 80s where people were wearing long johns and yet covering up. Like, oh no, you can't see my long johns. That's my genitalia.
that's actually an organ of mine, this long johns.
I grew this.
I grew this. It's a new layer of skin. Oh, God. Skin long johns. Okay. Having averted your eyes, you find yourself staring at a rough wooden floor, which seems to be slightly concave. You glance around furtively, taking care not to embarrass the wizard Merlin by looking at his long johns directly. You're in the oddest room. Question mark? Chamber? Question mark? House? Question mark? That you've ever seen. It's quite vast. Oh my god, there's a picture of Merlin. Stark naked except for boots, long johns, vest, and hat. Okay. The book knows. The book knows. House that you've ever seen. It's quite vast, but entirely made of wood with curving walls, ceiling, and floor. As if you were in a gigantic...
A barrel!
Says Merlin.
It's my new home. I got the idea from an old Greek who used to live in one, but mine's bigger. It has to hold all of my things. I had it specially made by the Court Cooper, when there was a Court Cooper.
He hesitates sadly and adds...
And when there was a court, come to that. Lucky I did! Something in the shape protected me from the curse. You don't know anything about the curse yet, do you?
No, sir.
You say politely, your head reeling a little. Now that you can tear your eyes away from the insides of this gigantic barrel, you realize you're wearing a new and different body. A sturdy, handsome carcass dressed in breeches, leggings, and a tunic, so we're nearly naked, with a neat broadsword belt around your waist.
Pimp's body.
Says Merlin, who can obviously read minds.
If you haven't occupied it before, you'll soon get used to it, but I'd better tell you about the curse. Or rather show you. In which case, I'd better get you kitted out.
Kitted out?
You ask, wondering why he's wandering around in his underwear, a.k.a. nude bod.
Because the curse rotted my robes!
Merlin snaps.
I thought you said the barrel protected you from it.
You protest.
Only when I'm inside. The robe was hanging on the line to dry. Fortunately, I still have my hat, or I, rather, wouldn't have been able to cast the net spell to bring you here. But we won't worry about that. There's no time to lose. Have a look at this inventory.
With which he hands you a scroll on which has been scrolled the following items.
Axe, ant farm, boots, cobweb spray, fishing rod, glitter powder, hammer, handkerchief, knife, mallet, 50-inch coil of rope. 50 inch? 50 foot. That's the thing for foot. Foot and inches are not intuitive to me. Ration, a week's supply, a razor, a 1 pound pack of salt, saw, slide trombone, a spikes, a stake, wooden, suitable for vampires, a talking head made of brass, a toothbrush, and a 200-foot ball of twine.
Now, the thing is,
says Merlin,
you'll only be able to take 6. Anything over that rots.
But you haven't told me what's going on.
in protest.
How am I supposed to know what to take when I don't know what to expect?
Oh, it doesn't matter,
says Merlin.
The situation is actually, frankly, so desperate that anything could come in handy. Oh, there again, anything might be useless. You can take whatever you fancy. Up to 6 items.
And having made your decision on the basis of ESP, you can troll off to 10 for the next big nonsense.
Oh, that's great. I'm all aboard. Let's just get our 6 items then.
Hold on, Reps. Let me roll, let's see, 6 2s in a row while never rolling a 1 or a 6. Oh, that's a 1. That's...
okay.
There's a 2. We got one item. That's
it was
a 2.
good
That's 2 items. 6. Oh, we lost all of our items. 1. We lost all of our items. All right. God. All right. Yeah, we just get our items. That's so nice. All right. What do you want to just pick back and forth? Schoolyard draft?
Hell yeah. Do you want to take first?
Sure. Ant farm. I want to farm
Love
ants.
100%. We recognize the power of an ant farm when we see it.
Yep.
As the only musical instrument I can see on here, the slide trombone.
True. Is there a light source on here? Hold on.
No.
Interesting. Because we've definitely learned having one of those is very good. I'm going to say glitter powder.
I like it. Glitter powder. Let me follow that with a very pragmatic choice. And I'm going to go with the spikes.
Oh, I was going to say I'm going to go with the rope.
All right. Then in conclusion, I'm kind of still tossing up between stake and knife.
Yeah, I could see those.
You know what?
Is there any healing?
I'm gonna roll a
in there?
die. There is not. Well, rations might be on certain instances where the game prompts you to take rations in order to heal, but we haven't seen that often at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll 1, 2, 3 will be knife. Sorry?
No, you go ahead.
Oh, just in case there's an extra inclusion that I should be rolling for here.
No. I was going to say, if I would have picked one more, I would have picked steak.
You know what? That's actually good enough to be a tiebreak as far as I'm concerned. We'll take steak.
I rolled a 5 and then a 6 anyways, so.
Perfect. Steak. Wooden, suitable for vampires. That's all part of its description.
Yes. Steak, wooden, suitable for vampires. I was going to say grampires. That's a grandpa umpire.
I mean, they would be weak to a steak, as in their teeth would get stuck in it.
They'd also be weak to a wooden stake through the heart. So
that's true. So many things are. We only talk about vampires being weak to that. I'm pretty sure if I shot a human with a silver bullet, they're going down, werewolf or not.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
just imagine that walking through a town with a revolver, just a 6-shooter with nothing but silver in, and just popping the first 6 people you see and going, wow, damn, I guess they were all werewolves.
Oh my god, I'm 6 for 6 on that.
Pretty sure it would have bounced off otherwise.
Yeah, no more imposters among us. We got all the werewolves out. Anyway, page 10.
Now, pass me a bucket from the bed. Blanket, sorry.
Merlin instructs you. You pass him the blanket, without comment, and he wraps it around his bony frame in the manner of a badly tailored Roman toga.
Ah, yes. Now,
he says.
Follow me.
You follow him out of the door the door in the side of the barrel. And once you realize something is dreadfully wrong, the barrel you now see is set at the bottom of Cadbury Hill on the edge of the sweeping grain fields which march across the landscape to Glastonbury Village. But though the sun is shining and harvest time must be near, the sweeping grain fields are bare, parched earth cracking in great slabs of crazy paving with not a plant in sight. And beyond them, Glastonbury lies enshrouded in a dense gray fog, squatting like a sullen toad over the entire village, but extending not a single inch beyond. And if that was not bad enough, as your eyes move upwards over Cadbury Hill to the proud Castle Camelot which crowns the peak, you see King Arthur's brave keep has been transformed into a looming fungoid mass, barely recognizable as the seat of the glittering court. You swing round to Merlin with a mounting alarm.
What's happening here?
You gasp. He shakes his head.
It's the curse, I tell you. The curse on Camelot.
Yes.
You say impatiently.
But who laid the curse? And what has it done? And why didn't somebody stop it? And what can be done about it? And who?
He holds up a skinny hand.
Patience. Everybody's been asking me the same thing, and I don't have all the answers, but if you zip across to page 22, I'll tell you everything I know.
So what are you waiting for? So many in-canon go-to-page blanks. The curse.
Yeah. I'm liking how they casually weave those in.
It's like, I see you here in this town, adventurer. Welcome to our fair town. Would you like to press the A button to jump for me? Would you please press the B button to pick up those mushrooms over there? I need them for my stew. Now open up your crafting menu and insert the mushrooms into my pot. Press plus
now, for
button.
What it's worth, it's slightly outside of that, only because the only characters who've spoken to us like that are magical or under the influence of Merlin. So it feels more like a wink and a nod of like, I know this is a game, you know this is a game. We'll level on that for a second before you go off to your adventure.
It's true. Merlin does very much know about the meta context of being in this book. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
The curse! It came about in this fashion. For many months since the return of Excalibur, peace and plenty returned to the realm of Avalon. Why couldn't we read that book? It was one of those golden times where trade booms, corn grows high, brigands, robbers, bandits, and burglars all fade into semi-retirement, and it rains only at night after midnight. Even dragons were few and far between.
The result of a dry August the year before, according to the old residenters, of whom one coined an expression, "We've never had it so good," which became something of a catchphrase.
Brave knights of the Table Round, with few dragons to slay and almost no wrongs to right, spent much of their time jousting to the intense enjoyment of the peasantry who had free tickets to these events and thoroughly enjoyed the spectacle of aristocrats falling off of horses and breaking the odd armor rib. King Arthur, relieved of the onerous burden of state problems, had more free time, and spent it fishing. Only the wizard Merlin and the court cooper, a squat little man named Harold, were at all busy. And that only was because the Welsh wizard's fearsome eccentricity had occasioned him to commission the creation of a gigantic barrel in which he proposed to live like Socrates.
Or was it Plato?
Which exactly happened to change this idyllic situation remains a shade obscure. There was much speculation after the event, of course. Midwife Hardiker of Glastonbury had a story of Piper commissioned by the village council to rid the town hall of black beetles and never paid. Farmer Albert, a man as famed for his flights of fancy as for the turf he smoked in his clay pipe, maintained the fault lay and with his arch enemy, the blacksmith Abraham, who was so drunk one night that he stumbled into a holy well, thus committing an unconscious act of desecration. Petronicus Ambilicus, the old Roman alchemist, who still plied his trade in Glastonbury, reckoned it was a seasonal thing, connected in some mysterious way to the position of the planet Mercury. More serious theories put forward by the Archbishop of Canterbury suggested the disturbance of a great worm in Cornwall or possibly the activity of witches in Wales. But the simple fact is that no one really knew. Everyone went to sleep one evening,
Before midnight to avoid the rain.
in a realm that was all green and golden and sunny and peaceful, and woke up the following morning to a nightmare of blight, pestilence, gloom, and corruption. The first thing they noticed was that dawn's sun had taken a greenish tinge, and while that died down a little over the morning, there was still the smog that fallen over Glastonbury. The pollution in the water supply, the total disappearance of every night in Avalon, the fungus attack on Camelot Castle, the death of all grain crops, the sickening of pigs and cattle, the dying of soil, the potholes, the molehills, which all erupted like boils along the main roads. The waste gold started to rust and linen started to rot, and the mildew that appeared nearly everywhere. It was, said the old residenters wisely, a curse. And for once nobody disagreed with them. The problem, of course, was what to do about it. The first deputation went to Camelot, but quickly found it was impossible to enter the castle, let alone communicate with the King Arthur or the members of his court. The second deputation went to Merlin's barrel, but was denied entrance on the grounds that the wizard had nothing to wear. It was an excuse that members of the deputation appreciated, since they too had lost much of their clothing. After that,
That's great.
the people settled down to suffering, as people usually do in the face of mysterious adversity, except for Merlin himself, of course, who did what he always did when there was too much trouble abroad for normal human beings to handle. Merlin cast a net spell to capture the greatest hero in the known universe. Wow, we've upgraded. A young person with sufficient skill, courage, talent, common sense, good looks, and self-confidence to animate the body of Pip. Wait, they're complimenting us.
Yeah, that's a direct compliment to us. The books have always been very, very kind about us in situ.
Yeah, and very unkind about Pip until recent, in which it feels like they've stopped with the whole Pip is a big old dum-dum routine.
That was the unkindness they did to Pip, whereas it felt like every time they were like, oh, Pip, what a great body, what an incredibly handsome face. Kind of a dummy, but yeah.
It's like
can't get everything.
This side-by-side of the Gordon Ramsay talking to the people on MasterChef versus MasterChef Junior.
Yes!
It's like, oh, you sweet little angel, here's what you need to do versus, you donkey!
What are you? I'm an idiot sandwich.
Yeah, it's kind of what it feels like. Anywho, those who knew about the spell were greatly relieved. The situation needed a hero, particularly one stupid enough to risk his life and limb to sort things out. So, about that. All right, now read to page 50.
I can't believe that one line in the future, our downfall lay.
Yep. You donkey!
I'm an idiot sandwich.
So, here you are,
said Merlin.
all ship-shape and Bristol fashion, keen and enthusiastic.
He glances up at the sky briefly.
Looks like rain, but it won't. It never rains now, at least when you want it to. Only when you don't, and then it doesn't do any good. Never mind, you'll soon sort it out.
But I don't even know who laid the curse.
You wail.
Well, neither do I.
admits Merlin frankly.
Shortly after the whole thing happened, a thunderstone fell into Glastonbury Village Square with an inscription on it that read, "Revenge is sweet. Signed, Cran the Terrible." There was a lot of excitement when that happened, and people started talking about the curse of Cran.
But then all we have to do is find this Cran.
The curse of Cran is when you are trying to use the crayon and you're pushing a little bit too hard and then it snaps in the middle. That's the curse. That's the curse of Cran.
My similar pitch would have been when it's worn down to a nub that you can't hold and correctly use to actually demonstrate anything on the page.
It's when
It's a very short crayon. It's a crayon.
Yeah, it's a crayon. It's when you have to start tearing off the paper, the fun paper that lets you know that it's Jim's red or whatever.
Yeah, or lapis lazuli or something like that. They're always... I don't want to remove those. As soon as I'm done with the very top nib, the original triangle, I'm throwing it out and getting a new one.
Yeah. It's like, this is autumn purple. It's like, I wouldn't really consider purple to be much of an autumn color, but I mean, I don't know enough about crayons to dispute this.
Oh, this one's seasonal. I need to find a different purple.
Oh, God, I can't use this purple in fall. Amateur. Timmy, come for dinner. No. Okay.
Timmy, you stay in your room until you learn the seasons.
Fall into winter, spring into summer. Now, why did I get a drawing on the fridge with a autumn purple? I don't know, Mother. Well,
this scene was set in autumn.
Nice try, but that's clearly a summer sky. Back to your room.
The clash of seasons. Oh, that's clearly a summer pink. All right. Anyways, start talking about the curse of Cran. And they have to do is find Cran. You exclaim.
What do you mean, we?
Merlin asks testily, but before he can answer this, he adds...
You'll find it's not as simple as that. Whoever laid the curse would have to be a wizard, sorcerer, or witch, and they're all registered, you know. In your rules. You can't practice magic unless you're registered.
Then...
You interrupt.
We just have to look at the records.
I've done all that,
Snaps Merlin.
There's no such person as Cran. At least, there's no such name registered anyway. It's my belief that Cran is a nom de guerre. So to find Cran, you're going to have to find out who Cran really is. Then you're going to have to kill him. Or her.
He pauses thoughtfully.
Or it.
He adds.
Where do I start?
Oh, that's up to you,
Says Merlin.
After all, it's your adventure. I can't possibly come with you since I'd risk being arrested for indecent exposure. But if I could come with you, I would suggest you start with a visit to Glastonbury. Or a run at Castle Camelot. Those are the two places where the curse lies thickest, so there might be some clues to pick up.
Which seems as good of advice as any. You can troll up to Cadbury Hill, to the castle on 17, or Glastonbury on 34.
I mean, I have a lean if you don't immediately.
Hit me with it because my orange pen ran out of ink.
Again, we will be marking you down for that, but
yeah, I got a blue. That works.
The lean I'm on is that going up to the castle seems like probably the best way to get not just a view of the surrounding land, but also a view of the most dire circumstance, and possibly maybe interact with some characters who might be able to shout down from a window about what's happening inside of the castle. It seems the area of the most dense intrigue.
I dig it. Good enough of a reason for me. Page 17. Yeah, 17. Boop, boop, boop. It should be a familiar road to Camelot since you've climbed this hill often enough in the past, usually in triumph after slaughtering something particularly beastly and saving the realm yet again. But while it should be familiar, it isn't. The great broad highway which meandered up the hill is now rutted and potted and caved in that it's scarcely more than a goat track. The avenue trees planted as ornamentation by the green thumb Mogg, King Arthur's head gardener, are wilted, diseased, and in many cases even fallen. Another land below, once so beautiful a vista, is now a sweeping plain of shrub and dried-out marsh. After this approach, the castle itself comes as no real surprise. The glittering spires and soaring towers, the proud walls, the looming battlements are now completely covered in a thick, oozing leprous skin of dark gray fungus, which transforms the entire edifice into something reminiscent of a gigantic squatting toad. There's a distant chill in the air, and the moat smells foul. Scum and debris float like sullen corpses on the surface. Great slow bubbles erupt from the depths to burst on the surface, releasing little greenish fumes. The raised drawbridge exhibits signs of dry rot, and the closed portcullis has fallen prey to rust. There are no guards on the walls, and a silent stillness hangs over everything like a funeral shroud. Welcome back to Camelot, Pip. But how do you propose to get in? You might perhaps attempt to swim the moat at 26, bravely announce your arrival at 43, or maybe even write it all off as a bad idea and go to Glastonbury on 34.
Swim the fetid moat. Or just yell, hi, I'm here. Anyone in? Seems like one of them's a little less risky.
The moat? I wouldn't socialize.
Good point, well made. I might get embarrassed.
I'd die of embarrassment. 43?
Let's do it.
Ho there!
You call, hands placed firmly on your hips. A small,
but extremely handsome and impressive figure.
Dwarfed by this... Wait, what the heck? Small, okay. Small but extremely handsome and impressive figure dwarfed by the towering fungoid edifice.
Ho there!
You call again.
This is Pip the Dragon Slayer and Hero of Avalon seeking entrance to the court of Camelot, as is my right as servant and friend to the great King Arthur.
From deep within the castle, something giggles evilly, which, as you discover, if you hang around long enough, is the only answer you're going to get. And that would seem to reduce your options to swimming the moat or going to Glastonbury. I mean, we're right at the beginning. Should we swim the moat to see if it just straight kills us? Because I'm imagining it's going to be like this is a lock you need to find a key before you come back. It's my guess, but who knows? The moat water has all the fresh consistency of thick pea soup and a certain corrosive quality which brings your skin out into a rash before you've gone 3 yards. Even old EJ, your faithful talking sword, is moved to protest.
Look, shut up, EJ!
Despite all this unpleasantness, you swim strongly for the castle wall, but while you swim strongly, you don't seem to be getting any closer.
We're not getting any closer.
Shut up, EJ!
And all the same, he's right. After 15 minutes, you're still up to your neck in this foul liquid and still only a few yards from the bank where you first leapt in. After a time, you turn around and swim back to the bank.
That was the stupidest idea you've ever had.
You tell EJ shortly as you drag yourself back out, which may be true.
And although it probably isn't.
But doesn't get you into the castle. You may bravely announce your arrival or abandon the attack. Okay, so we have to go to Glastonbury, but we now know that. The road to Glastonbury, once such a pleasant journey, is now a disaster area, with the fog-enshrouded destination holding no great appeal either. You reach the outskirts of the village eventually and step reluctantly into the mist. It's not so thick as it seems from the outside, so you can see perfectly well where you're going, but it is damp and chill, making an adventurer's life,
which was never a bowl of cherries to begin with,
even more difficult. But difficult or not, you should brace yourself to study the map of Glastonbury on 202 to indicate what you shall explore. We got a map already, eh?
We do indeed. It's about the size of half of Scroghollow City. Scroghollow City! There's the road to Tor up in the top left. There's a central village square with a well in the center of it and what looks like a lake off to one side. And then the standard assortment of things you might imagine to find in a small village. Some grazing yards, what looks like a paddock, possibly a church, possibly a bar.
Possibly a bar/church hybrid.
Kneel in the pews and genuflect with a beer in hand.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we got a big old... Okay, so we got a lot of options. I was just getting my Microsoft Paint screen ready. So Road to Tor is
Yes,
on
I
there.
suspect that's not where we've come from.
Yeah, but it makes me wonder, where are we coming from? Because I like having a clean thought. Let's just assume 7. How about that?
Yeah. In which
Just
case,
pick one.
on entry to the town, we have a building off to our right. Would we like to check 7?
Yeah. Zoop. Now, this is very odd, Pip. You've reached the gatehouse, which guards the main road to Glastonbury. They call it the gatehouse because there used to be a wall around the village in bad old days before King Arthur brought a bit of law and order to Avalon. The wall is long gone now, but the gatehouse remains, and you know from past experience there should be a token guard here.
By the name of Sam.
Sam is not a serious guard, of course, just a colorful old gent in funny, out-of-date clothes carrying an ornamental sword and a spear. Bit of tradition preserved by the village council. The thing is, no Sam. And no other guard either. The gatehouse is silent, cold, and empty. New destination.
Interesting. I want to meet Sam. Sam sounds cool.
Should we...
If we continue into the main area, there is a well directly ahead of us in the village square, or we could cut immediately to the right and head to the lake.
I feel like just visualizing, if I was walking into town, the first thing I would see upon entering through this path would be the well.
Sounds good to me.
All right, page 5. It's the village well. And then... yeah.
And then it's the village well by an own sentence, and then you have to go over the page transition to see the rest of it. Yeah. I know that this is not the original book formatting, but that would be a really good formatting for a joke.
Yeah. Generally, the women come here in the early mornings to draw water and exchange news, but there are no women about now either, nor men to come to that. This is normally the very heart of the village activity, and now...
Thanks to the curse, presumably.
It's as silent as a tomb. You walk to the stone wall and peer over into the well shaft itself, 38 foot deep, dug by hand and stone-lined by some patient mason in days long before you were born. You can't see the water surface, of course. That's too far down, but you can see. Yes, quite definitely. There are steps cut into the stonework. How odd, nobody noticed them before. They look not exactly brand new, at least fairly recently cut. Who on earth would want to cut steps into a well, and where would they lead? You can always try to find out by climbing down on page 64, but they look slippery and dangerous. So you can turn back. I've never turned back from a thing in my life. What?
And we're not going to start now. I think this is our test of, well, have you read any of the previous books? Because guess who hid in the bottom of a well in Glastonbury Village?
Merlin.
The Welsh wizard Merlin. I'm pretty sure it's his house down there.
Yes, seems like it. 63. The ducks... Wait, what?
Is it not 64?
64. That makes more sense than the ducks look suitably grateful. But I do want to get to 63 now. All right. Climbing down, are ya? Better check to make sure you don't slip and break your neck. Roll 2 dice, score 4 or better. Go to 45, 5 or more, and turn to 37.
All right, I'm going to roll one of these. You roll one of these. All right, I'm pretty confident.
I got a 3.
Great. I also got a 3. We have a 6 in total. That's 5 or more. Page 37 beckons us.
Whether or not it's successful, we'll see. I'd assume. It didn't say... The other one was not go to page 4, for what it's worth. You break your neck, and life is harder now? This is crazy. You're in a room at the bottom of the well. A room of sorts. It's sort of a gigantic bubble, really, but it's been furnished with a bed, an easy chair, several leather-bound books, a gozalo.
Which gozalo the bed?
A wardrobe, an alchemist's furnace, an alchemist's furnace. There'd be only one soul in the whole of Avalon who would take the trouble of installing an alchemist's furnace. Quickly grab one of them. Yes, we know. One of the leather-bound books. Sure enough, there is a familiar spidery writing in the title page.
This tome This tome belongs to Merlin.
You found another of Merlin's blasted houses. He has them all over this place in the most eccentric situations. Quickly, you flick through the remaining books in hopes that they might come in useful with some sort of spells, but they turn out to be utter rubbish. A work on astronomy, which proves the sun goes around the earth backwards every 7 years. 2 adventure game books about some idiot called Firewolf, which I think is something also made by the same people.
Yes, I believe that is another one of the solo fantasy game books written by J.H. Brennan, writer of GrailQuest.
Yeah. A book of crossword puzzles, a fisherman's handbook. Throwing the volumes aside in disgust, you make to go back to the steps when a thought strikes, and you look inside the alchemical furnace. A green stone lies half hidden in the dead ashes. Could be something ghastly, of course, since Merlin concocts the most appalling artifacts sometimes. But you may, if you wish, take the stone at 56 or leave it.
I've never left an artifact in my life, game.
Punish me. See if I care.
I'll see you on 56.
Don't touch me.
A voice hisses urgently, if somewhat muffled by a scabbard. It is, of course, your talking sword, EJ.
Why not?
You hiss back.
I think it's cursed.
EJ tells you.
Why do you think that?
It's green, isn't it? Green stones are always cursed. Once you touch it, you'll never be able to put it down until you're dead. Perhaps not even then. It might even drain your life points, or give you boils, or transport you instantly to some ghastly place, or call up some horrendous monster, or...
Oh, shut up, EJ. I need to think.
Take all the time you need and take the green stone if you still want it by turning to page 73. Oh, that's all the time I need.
I've never not taken a thing in my life.
I've never not taken a thing in my entire life. 73. Your hand
Shaking a little.
closes on the green stone.
Yeah!
Do be quiet, EJ.
You tell him firmly, since in fact nothing very much has happened beyond a slight magical tingle from the stone.
Is it cursed?
He gasps.
No, of course it isn't.
You assure him. And you may even be right, although you'll never know until you decide to rub the stone. You can do that right now if you wish by turning to page 12, but before you go rushing off, you should consider the possibility that you can only use the magic in it once and it might be wasted at this point. Your other possibility is to keep the stone
Without rubbing it.
and only turn to 12 when you actually want to use it, although in that case you should make a note of the section number so you can get back to it easily. Okay? So I guess mark down the green stone on page 12?
Yes, I've got written green stone and then in parentheses rubbable, page 12. Do we want to forecast like the first usage that we want for this? Like, when we're about to encounter a battle that seems difficult, or when it seems like we might die in a moment or something like that.
I guess. Yeah. If things seem dangerous.
Okay, trigger condition. If danger, then rub.
Don't danger rub inside.
Where do we head from the well, Rita? I assume that we emerge outside of it, very capable and safe. There is a lake across the way. There's also just the village square itself and what looks like a stall in the square.
Yeah, the village square itself seems to make sense.
Cool. That's page 30.
A familiar enough sight, Pip, since your adopted father, Freeman John, used to bring you here on the back of his cart since you were a child. Those were the days when he came to sell his farm produce in Glastonbury Market, for this is the market square, where you punched old mean Jake. It's empty now, which is odd considering the time of day. You'd normally expect somebody hanging around, even if it was only a tinker mending pots or a beggar trying to extract a few pennies from the passers-by. But now there's only the empty square with the well,
Marked 5 on your map.
Yeah, but which we've been to. At the center, the curse seems to be very bad for business. The end.
It's the doomed business district here. Let's check out 51 then, the stall in the village square here. Very nearby, if we just peer slightly to the left.
All right. You knock,
Go away!
calls a voice from deep inside the house.
Go on! Go away!
You knock again, polite style. The door opens a fraction and only one beady eye peers out.
Go away! Oh, it's you, young Pip. I thought it might be that wizard Cran.
No, sir, it is not.
You say, recognizing the market master, Bernard Grookbuck.
No, I can see that now. I suppose you want the key to the stockyard. Not that it'll do you any good since the stockyard's empty. Part of the curse, you know. Still, there's nothing else here but the key, and you're welcome to take it if you want it.
Take the useless key if you want it, and return to the map. I'll take it.
Stockyard key.
Lake to find ducks.
Oh, now, we're in Avalon. I understand the lake is where you find Excalibur, actually, so we should be great. Let's go get it.
Quack.
Oh.
You are standing on the edge of the village duck pond. Okay. A scummy little stretch of water sometimes used for throwing bullies into. There's 3 ducks on it at the moment, swimming backwards for some reason. Oh. Near the middle, you can see bubbles rising as if someone had fallen in and was drowning. If you want to investigate those bubbles, you're going to have to get your feet wet all the way up to your head. But if that's what you want, you may leap into the pond on page 3. If you prefer to stay dry, you can pass the time by feeding ducks on page 63. Yeah, I really want to try and feed the ducks first. So bad.
I do too. It feels like, the ducks seem weird. This seems like a weird situation. If someone's been in there, they've been in there for a while. They're not just about to drown in the period of time it takes me to feed these ducks.
Yeah, these ducks are hungry. This is urgent. And also,
it's page 63. Let's investigate. Feed these ducks.
These ducks look suitably grateful. Now stop messing around with the ducks. You've got a kingdom to save. Return to 20 to decide where to go from there. Okay.
All right. Do we want to feed them too?
Feed them to the person?
Feed them to people. Yes.
Yeah. Page 3.
You can go rumble that storekeep out. Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's go page 3. We'll see what the bubbles are. Splash! Now you're in the water. Seems like a good time to find out if you can swim. Roll the dice. Score 4 better. Go to 40. 4 or less. Turn to 28.
All right. I'll roll this.
All right.
We can't swim.
Well, I mean, probably.
28.
We don't know.
It's a 50-50.
We don't know for a fact that means failure. It doesn't say.
You're right. It doesn't say. Let's go to page 28.
You sink like a stone all the way to page 14 and die. Let's read it.
Mm-hmm. Right, what's page 14?
Wait, what?
Well, I mean, page 14 is the death.
Yeah.
But it's always well written.
Let's
sound like in this one.
Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? Killed stone dead by something or other. Just not being able to swim. There's no need to stay that way. Just grab your dice, re-roll your life points, get back to your adventure faster than it takes for you to say anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Which is supposedly the longest word in the English language, incidentally.
What's more, you don't have to go back to the beginning unless you particularly want to. Only start at the particular sequence where you were killed. For example, if you're slaughtered in Glastonbury, you can just restart there. Or if you're in the castle, you can restart at the castle. You can get to the castle. Confirmed. Okay. This saves a lot of time, and it'll be a big help in the long run since it gives you a second chance to investigate things you may have missed. Great.
That's incredible. We don't even need to provide the external logic of that mechanic would be a lot better for this podcast. That mechanic is now just what we do. Woohoo! Justified. Let's go.
Let's go. I rolled a 6 and we can swim.
Oh, that's on page 3. Leads us to where?
40.
40. Excellent.
All right. Swimming like a fish.
Or duck, if you prefer.
You make your way with lightning speed to the spot where the bubbles are emerging, wondering the while what is causing them. But before you actually reach the bubbles, you find out the hard way. Emerging out of the water is a long, scaly head attached along an equally scaly neck, which in turn is attached to a long, scaly body just visible beneath the surface of the pond. Congratulations, you've solved the mystery of the origin of the Loch Ness Monster. But right now, you better decide what to do about it. Big though it is, the creature is not fully grown.
There being less room in Glastonbury Duck Pond than in Loch Ness.
But it still sports 30 life points and can savage you at +5 damage on a throw of 6 or better. Wow. If it savages you successfully, turn to the dreaded 14. If you savage it, 6 would be a better destination. I guess we're going to kill the Loch Ness Monster?
Yeah, I suppose so. Now, the game didn't directly tell us this.
Yeah.
But EJ is talking. We must have EJ.
We have EJ for sure.
Has to be. So we've got a hit on a +4 for +5 damage. We have 42 HP. The enemy has 30. And they hit for the same amount of damage on a higher throw. This is all to say that statistically, we should win this fight.
Yeah. Sorry, what page was this? I was scrolling down to the bottom to see if there was like the thing that said like, oh, here's all the stuff that you've had from the past books. Because then I was like, oh, maybe we have Okay, we're on 40. Never mind. All right.
If only.
Initiative.
Yes, it's 40. I've rolled 3
Four.
for our initiative.
Get wrecked. I'm rooting for Nessie. 4.
Let's see if we do get wrecked.
10.
Oh boy. Okay, so that's 9 damage. Down to 33 immediately.
Yeah, we're getting wrecked.
All right. Good work, Nessie.
All right. I guess we're doing this.
EJ swings back for a solid 8 against the enemy, chunking them down. I should get another piece of paper to record this rather than my inventory sheet.
Nessie tries to just swing at you with their head. It misses. It's a 3.
It works for giraffes.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. Just swing back.
EJ holds himself out directly and in a point so as to try and intercept the next swipe of the neck, and does so very successfully, rolling a 9 for 10 total damage, taking the Loch Ness down to 12 remaining HP with a sharp slash across the throat.
Whew. That's a 5, which is a miss, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, perfect. And it's gonna be difficult not to at least make the Loch Ness unconscious here. So this is gonna be throwing the sword EJ into the river. All right, so we strike for 4, which is one of the only numbers that wasn't gonna result in unconsciousness there.
And in you screaming in agony misses with a 4.
Mm-hmm. Lost all concentration, eh? I'll end this. And we end this. Or rather, actually, we put them on 1 HP remaining, so
Thank
they're
God.
unconscious. If we should like to internally not ruin the cryptological record.
Yes. I do not kill
The
the Loch Ness
cryptozoological
monster.
record, rather. Yes.
Yes. So we do mark an experience, but do not mark our conscience.
Mm-hmm.
If you savage the Loch Ness monster, turn to page 6. Alright, swimming mightily, you drag the huge corpse of the Loch Duck Pond monster to the edge for examination. It's an awful-looking creature, slimy and scaly, and quite terrifying even now, even if it's dead. And since there's not much outside of a monster... the outside of a monster can tell you, you may decide to do a quick post-mortem by cutting it open on page 39, or you can not and turn to page 16.
If we get to 39, it's like, do you have a knife? Yeah, EJ, I have a sword.
Oops. Which page? Sorry, I heard
Hey,
a loud noise. It is a plane. Okay.
It's all good.
9? Wait, what page?
Hey, you're not gonna use me on that thing, are you?
What page are we on?
39 for
Okay, thank
the post-mortem examination.
Okay. Asks EJ in alarm, having guessed you're about to cut up the monster.
I used you to kill it.
You point out reasonably.
Yeah, but that's my job.
EJ says.
Cutting up dead things is very infra-dig for a sword.
Oh, do be quiet.
You tell him, abandoning reasonableness. And with one swing of your protesting sword, you lay open the monster, who still is just unconscious, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Inside it is a collection of the most amazing rubbish. Old horseshoes, rusting daggers, bits of armor, leather boots, so forth. Put them on. And all that remains, presumably, of the people
And horses.
that it's eaten. Rummaging through, you come across a bottle with a piece of parchment inside. Even through the glass, you can read the writing on the parchment that says simply...
There's a secret entrance to Camelot at page 60.
Interesting information, if true. You can turn to page 60 to find out, or keep the parchment for later and continue investigating the map. You know? What do you
That
think?
sounds good to me.
I say sure.
I like that we have it, but while we have the stockyard key from the guy in Glastonbury, I'd really like to also check out the stockyard before bouncing.
Which one's the stockyard?
No clue yet.
58? 67? One of those
Could
to
even
me?
be 54.
Could even be 42. 38, 62, 47, 4, 15, 16, 23, 42.
I was wondering how long until we got that sequence there.
Bulbasaur, Pikachu, Squirtle, Mankey. I don't care which. I want you to decide which one you think is. Since you want to remain in the city, I want you to decide which you think is most likely to be the stockhouse until you're right. This is the game we will be playing.
Excellent. So one of them is a very, very long building, and I could see that being used more for material than for people, so let's check 42.
Now, this is a building you've never needed to enter before, since the loot you've collected during your various adventures has left you reasonably well off. Oh yeah? But you know what it is, of course, and so does everyone in Glastonbury, the town almshouse, established in a benevolent moment by King Arthur himself, officially opened by the Archbishop of Canterbury, and the one spot where the poor and needy can go for a handout now and then. As usual, the doors are locked and barred, and the windows tight-shuttered. You walk past the various signs.
No admittance. Keep out. Trespassers prosecuted.
Beware of the dog.
Private. Staff only.
And so on.
To the main door, you knock. After a while, you knock again and again, losing patience. You kick the door, which falls inwards with a resounding crash.
That's government property!
A shrill voice exclaims.
There will be forms to fill out!
You're looking into a neat office furnished with a neat desk behind which sits a neat nerd, wearing the traditional white spats of his race. Something about him looks painfully familiar.
Excuse me?
You say?
But haven't we met somewhere before? Perhaps we have, perhaps we haven't,
says the nerd sharply.
That depends on whether you visited the ghastly kingdom of the dead. I used to run a treasure room there until some silly little hero looted it and lost me my job. Fortunately, there's always employment for someone with a head for figures. Now, what do you want? I'm very busy. I was wondering if you could give me all the information about the Curse of Avalon.
You tell him.
Fill in this form.
If you... No, wait, snaps the nerd, pushing a piece of parchment towards you. If you want to waste time on the red tape, turn to page 8. If you prefer to beat the information out of the nerd, assuming he even has it, turn to page 13.
He is in the almshouse. It feels uncharitable to give this man, a new covering of black and blue. Although he did suck.
He did suck. That'd be my only pull for smacking him up a bit. I'm fine for either. I'll punch a nerd.
Let's punch the nerd. Last time we punched the nerd, we got a ring that was really cool that we never got to use.
That is very true. Page... Oh, wait. Wait, I thought it was 13. Page what?
I also thought it was 13.
This is definitely not the right page. Huh. It says 13.
I guess we should waste our time with red tape then, because this is certainly the incorrect page.
Let me see if I can search the word nerd. Huh. The nerd is mentioned nowhere else in the book. Huh?
Let's fill out the paperwork.
Yeah. Information. Well, you wanted to fill out the form. It's just a form, but it's not in English.
Or is it? The first entry is Iman, which is name backwards. The second is Serda, which is address backwards. And then Noitapuko, which is occupation backwards. However, it's worth noting, the text following that is actually back to the original ciphers that we saw in the previous books, which is to say an inverse cipher. All of this to say, it reads, on completion of this form, say gobble plunk aloud and then turn to page 13.
Oh.
Gobble plunk!
As you pronounce the mystic word, which is the page that we're what?
I have no clue.
As you pronounce the mystic word, your surroundings abruptly disappear, and you find yourself standing on a lonely road distantly to the southeast. You see a collection of fog-enshrouded buildings. To the northwest, the road seems to enter a marsh or swamp, out of which there towers a peculiarly rounded hill. Southeast takes you to 34, following the northwest road takes you to 32. Or we could follow the road to page 60 at any time.
That is also true. We could use the parchment to go to Camelot page 60.
What do you think?
with the idea in mind that it seems like we need to, or it seems like we might need to, rather, come back to Glastonbury in order to pick something up, if we have to go back there anyway, we now have exhausted the almshouse, so it seems more than reasonable at this point to go to Camelot.
All right, page 60 it is. This is an odd route to the castle, well away from the triumphal road leading up the hill to the main entrance. In fact, for a while, you have convinced yourself that this has been a mixed direction, since the path,
For it's no more than a path.
twists and turns and seems at times to be taking you in a completely opposite direction. At one point, your way passes through a small wood where the birds are coughing in the treetops as a result of the curse. Bird cough. I do want to hear it. Then drops into a dell, emerges across some wasteland, eventually reaches... This isn't the castle. This is nowhere near the castle. You're facing the entrance to a deep, dark cave. If you want to enter and risk getting totally lost, turn to page 636, or go back to Glastonbury on 34, or take the familiar road to the castle on 17, which we have done.
I can only imagine that the entrance to Camelot is still through
Yes,
here. Let's
me too.
persist.
And we also have a canonical way back to Glastonbury now on 34, so you know what I'm saying? Because before we
Also
go
true.
like, let's go back to Glastonbury. It's like, well, it doesn't technically say we can, but now we can do this. So 36. This isn't a cave at all, more like a tunnel of some sort. And once you've gone more than a few feet, it starts to descend quite sharply. Maybe this leads to the castle after all, some sort of subterranean entrance that comes up through the hill. Or there again, maybe it's a crypt full of vampires. Well, we have a wooden stake. You never know with places like this, but it's a bit too late to start worrying now. You're well into the tunnel, and in any case, now facing a tridentine fork, with the tunnel continuing northwards, but two branch tunnels driving off to the northwest and northeast. This could get a bit confusing, Pip, so keep your wits about you. North takes you to 33, northwest 41, northeast 46.
Absolutely northeast. I'll meet you on 46.
All right, I'm just marking these down. The tunnel ends in a blank wall to the northeast, while leading southwest to 36. Oh. Well, I'd say that's still a success, as it clears the information and exhausts the
it
route.
terminates that path.
It's almost better than a success because it's also such a quick one.
So let's go our next most favored of north.
Just north, yeah. A vague touch of deja vu here, as the Gauls like to say. You're now at a sort of tridentine fork with a tunnel running northwards, two branch tunnels driving out to the northwest and northeast, and a passage running south. This could get even more confusing, Pip, so keep your wits about you. North takes you to 44, northwest to 49, northeast to 53, south to 36. This is definitely worth making a...
Mapping, I'm doing it.
Okay.
I mean,
Northeast
do we need
until
to ask?
Yeah. North and then east.
Mhm.
Hold on. 44, 49, 53. South means just go back a page. So 53. The tunnel ends in a blank walls in the northeast and leads back to 33. I mean, hey, sure. 49.
Let's do it.
You've entered a small open chamber. A corridor runs southeast and another due south. The southeastern corridor leads to 33, which we've been. And then south
And
to
due
59.
south theoretically might lead to the previous northwestern direction from the original room.
I mean, it's worth giving it a shot to exhaust, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The tunnel angles north and east. At the junction, your eagle eye spots an entrance to a secret crawl space running north and east. North takes you to 49, east to 80, and this crawl space runs northeast to 36, which is the beginning page. Hold on. No.
Sorry, what page are we currently on?
We're on 59.
159. Thank you kindly.
Just 59. But yeah,
Just 59.
the crawl space, the secret crawl space takes us back to the beginning. So we don't want to do that. So it is north or east. 49, which is one we've already been to, or east, which is 80, which we've not been to. So 80?
Wait, what?
I don't know. It says it's going to get confusing.
It's just we're working in non-Euclidean space if these actually connect in the way that they're staying here
Yeah.
a second. So
I
if I
think-
were at 33 and I went northeast, I do go to 53. And then where's its northwest is 49.
Yeah, I think my normal like choose your own adventure branching path that I have going here is honestly going to be more helpful apparently, since it seems like it's not operating in real space. So page
What?
80.
So when you go south on page 59, the tunnel angles north and east.
Yeah.
How?
Because
Interesting.
north being, I think, back where you came from. It's just phrased weird because you can approach it from, you can get to these pages from multiple locations. So on page 80, we've already been
Let's do it.
to 59. So let's go to 61.
Mm-hmm.
You've entered a small open chamber. Passages lead south, north, northwest, and east. On one wall,
The west wall, to be exact.
there is a lever and a neat little notice which reads,
Push lever up or down to teleport.
how intriguing. If you push the lever up, you'll teleport to 57. You push it down, you teleport to 71. If you leave it alone, you may go south, north, northwest, or east. Woo! That's a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
So
I almost feel like at some point we will get clarification on what we want to do with this lever if we continue exploring.
yeah. I'm just writing down 80. Oh my god. 80, 101, 97, 90, 57, 71. There's a lot of options. Have we been to any of these?
Only
We have been to
80.
80. Yep. So north, northwest, or east? Should we try to go north or east?
Let's try north again on 101.
All right. The passage reaches a dead end to the north, while an opening to a small chamber at the south leads to 61. There is, however, a pit trap. Roll a die, 3 or more, you avoid it. Score 3 or below, you better go to 74. I got a 4.
Excellent. We avoid it.
Get wrecked. Pit. All right, so we go back to 61. So should we go to the north or to the east?
Let's go to the east on 90, yeah.
The passage ends in a blank wall to the east, while an opening to a smaller chamber on the west at 61. There's, however, a pit trap along here. Roll the die. I got it too. Unless you rolled.
Let's see what
I
that
got
does
it
on
too.
page 72.
Roll 2 dice to determine how many life points you have lost.
9.
Eesh. And then climb back up to page 90 from here. Okay. So we go back to
Which I can only imagine we don't have to do the pit trap immediately again after climbing out of it. That's very slapstick routine. So let's head back to 72. Not 72, that's the wrong one. Whoops, whoops, whoops.
61, which leads us to 97, which leads us either back to 61 or to 77. So
77 sounds new to me.
77. This is a goose chase. This passage runs southeast to 97, forks northwest on 83, and northeast to 93. So let's mark all those down, and let's see if we've been to any of those. So 97 we've been to. 83 we have not been to. 93 we have not been to. So north and east?
Let's do it. 93.
Oh my god. The passage runs southwest to 77, ends in a blank wall to the northeast. This is also a pit trap that you would need to go to 88 if you fail. I have rolled a 1, so 88.
Is 88 also just going to be... Yep.
You roll two dice to determine how many life points you've lost falling down this stupid pit. If it kills you, go to 14, and then if you don't die, go to 93. Alternatively, you may take a secret passage from the bottom of the pit to 95. So,
Ooh, we gotta do that.
I thought I heard you rolling.
Oh, I did indeed, and we took 10 damage, and I was
Ow.
going to try not to focus on that as we are in pain, buddy. We got 14 HP remaining. Hopefully, we don't visit the page anytime soon.
All right, well, hopefully we'll just get to the castle so that we can say, hey, yeah, they said we could start from the castle at any time.
That'd be
This
handy.
secret passage emerges through a sliding panel into a dank stone cell, dimly lit by gray glow, filtering through a high-slit window. There's a pile of filthy straw in one corner and the broken remains of a clay bowl in the other. Apart from this, the cell is empty. It seems obvious that you found your way into the Camelot dungeons, the network of tunnels and cells used to house those who've incurred the displeasure of the king. Once thrown into a cell like this, you could remain forever until you rot, whichever was sooner. Fortunately, however, the door of the cell is lying open, which means you can zip through quickly to 68 or search it on 104. Save state. We entered the castle.
Woohoo! We walked through the entrance, and the little autosave symbol popped up in the bottom left, and as a result, we know what's going on.
It's true.
New area.
The frames drop for just a second as the game like hitched as it's like, like in the middle of somebody telling you like a sad backstory, like, oh, the Camelot crypts. I was here when I was a kid. My father
Camelot Dungeons.
and I once. Okay. 95. So yeah, zip quickly. Do you want to search everything here? Right now? 104?
Well, absolutely.
I feel like we progressed. Okay. Nope, nothing here of use to man or beast. Zip to 68.
With a clear conscience.
Yeah. You find yourself in a dimly lit corridor running due north and south. The cell with its open door lies to the east, while a second corridor runs westwards, its entrance facing the cell door. Oh boy. So south takes you to 91, north to 75, west to 100, and east to 95. Jiminy. How many of these are we going to have?
I don't know, and yet I will start mapping this one in case it makes slightly more sense than the previous. Of course, we have a north option, and we've already explored the eastern, so I'll meet you on 75.
East is 95. Yep. Ben. So, oops. Oh, shoot. 91. 75. Okay. The north-south corridor ends in a block of 6 securely bolted cell doors running east and west. This is interesting. You may follow the corridor south to 68, which would bend, or open one, or all of the cell doors since the bolts are on the outside and the block is unguarded. If you decide to open the cell doors, consult the following table. Ooh.
And it's a page number for each of the cells. I like this. I like it. I like it a lot, but our health is 14. Just one bad fight.
It's
away
true,
from
we did
visiting,
save state as soon as we entered the castle.
That's also true. I was wondering if we wanted to consider maybe resting. Just having a little bit of a nap outside of these cells.
I mean, sure, we're going to probably like die anyways, so...
Yeah,
Let's go do a
exactly.
little
What's the
snooze.
worst case?
What, are you going to die about it?
I invite it. Wait, hang on. There are Dreamtime rules in this book, right?
Wait, is there no dream time?
Yes, there
There
are.
it is. All right. You enter dream time with your life points. You have no magic armor. Operate dream time. Throw 2 dice. And then check the result below. Wait. You sleep, and what is the rules for whether or not you get dream time even?
Yeah, so you originally, if I recall correctly, throw a dice and see if it hits a 5 or a 6. If it hits a 5 or a 6, you sleep safely. However, if it hits anything else, you need to do the dream time.
I got a 1. So you roll our dream time.
Alrighty then. Entering a musty cave, you discover a coded scroll on which you carefully decipher to find a new and unknown spell. Hurriedly, you pronounce the word Spiel Unker and find yourself back in the section where you slept, where you may or may not decide to sleep again. And it's also worth noting that don't we heal?
Yeah, we heal
Don't we heal regardless?
2d6.
Hell yeah. 7 health back.
Do we sleep again?
I mean, I think it's a great idea.
I got a 6, so we just sleep.
Ooh, for another 8 health, taking us up to 29 out of a total of 42. I'd be happy starting to open some cells at this point. I'd also be fine with sleeping.
Yeah, let's open the cells. And I'm going to roll the die to see which cell to open. 3. It feels right. I don't know.
Let's do it.
Unless, wait, I'm scrolling back up to the picture. Is there anything noteworthy about these? The only thing that's noteworthy is that the handle's on different sides.
Yeah, it seems to alternate. No, it doesn't all alternate. Left, right, right, left, left, right. That still doesn't really tell me much about which of these I might prefer over any of the others, so let's go to cell 3 on 108.
All right. There's a corpse in here. Some poor felon thrown into the cell, left to die of starvation or cold, or perhaps assassinated in the dead of night by a hooded figure with feral eyes, armed with a slim, silent blade. Brr. The body's clutching some piece of parchment with something scrawled across it. If you want to read what it says, turn to 114 or go to 75 and pick a new option. I've never left nothing, never.
And we're not starting now.
The writing on the parchment is a code, in a code of some sort. It reads...
This is funny. So it's just a reverse here rather than a inverse cipher. It just reverses the letters and it reads gone to 14.
Oh.
This person has gone to 14. So they're
just my god,
clutching it out.
That's so good.
It's like gone fishing, but I'm dead instead.
Yeah, gone dead.
It's gonna take me a much longer time to turn back up.
All right, back to 75. Do you want to pick a cell?
Yeah, I'd like to pick its brother on the other side. That's cell 4, 117.
Feeling rather pleased with yourself, you... Wait, what? 4?
Cell 4, 117, yeah.
Cell 4 on 117. I went to page 4. Oops.
So good.
117... As you begin to open the cell door, a black shape vaguely bat-like, the size of a man, bursts out, passes completely through you, before flapping up the corridor to disappear into the darkness, cackling wildly. This experience has done you no good at all. The shape absorbed 15 of your life points en passant without even giving you a chance for a fair fight. Wow. We're not dead, right?
We're not dead, no.
Not
we remain on 15 health points.
Assuming you're still standing, one wonders if it's a good idea to even enter the cell, since the thing that got out might have had company in there. However, if you wish to enter the cell, which is very dark, you can do so on 106.
I will note, if we didn't rest, that absolutely would have killed us, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, do we want to rest maybe again?
I mean...
Maybe a fun idea.
Sure. Did you roll or should I?
You should.
I rolled a 5 and a 6.
Oh. Heal number 1 is 7 HP. Heal number 2 is another 5 for a total of 13 more.
Oh, I wasn't even trying to roll for it. I wasn't even trying to get a double success out of it. I was kind of just playing with my dice.
Now, while I know you weren't, I'm absolutely treating it as though you were.
All right. Let's go to 106. I ain't gonna take 15 life points and not figure out what's behind there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a relief. It's empty. At least empty of anything nasty that moves. There's an ebony wand lying in one corner, presumably dropped by that thing that ran through you. You approach it with mounting excitement, having seen a picture of a similar wand in one of Merlin's magic books. Unless you're very mistaken, that is a healing wand. It's a healing wand, all right. You place one end of it against your temple, press the little brass stud in the base, and zip, you've gotten back a double dice roll of life points. But as you examine the wand, this particular wand, you can see that it's faulty. Every time you use it, you'll have to make a single die roll first, score 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and the wand will function exactly as described. Score is 6, and you will blow your head off. Interesting find, if you have the bottle to use it. I
love it.
I mean, sure, right?
Absolutely. Should we roll?
All right. 5.
Oh. And that's 10 HP back. I don't think we need to heal again. We're on 37. We're only 5 HP away from our max.
Isn't this just worse than Dreamtime?
So, kind of. It's a 1 in 6 to instantly kill you. Whereas Dreamtime is a 2 in 6 to be risky. So, I do think dreaming is probably a little safer than this a lot of the time. But this is hilarious. I love 1, 2, 5. It's normal. Number 6, it will blow your head off.
Yeah.
Interesting find.
All right, 75. Should we go into another cell? Are we exhausting all these cells? Or what?
I certainly think so. I think, we found an artifact in one of these cells after something bad happened to us, and other ones we've just found gags so far, whereas I imagine You know, 6 cells, one of these has to have a key item. Might even be a key.
All right. Let's go to cell 5.
Sequentially across, I like it. 126.
126. As you open the door to the cell, there's a sudden explosion of light inside. You leap back, falling into your familiar karate killer fighting stance. EJ at the ready, but the light fades almost at once to comfortable proportions. And you see within the cell a stately figure, dark hair, dark-eyed, scarlet-robed, and wearing a tall pointed hat. He stares at you piercingly.
I assume you are Pip.
Yes?
You admit taken aback?
But who are you?
The Wizard Cran.
What? Says the stately figure. Holy cow, you found him, the wicked wizard who put the curse on Camelot skulking into his cell to boot. Who would have thought of looking for him here, but what are you going to do about it? You decide to hurl yourself upon him, EJ hacking furiously, turn to 160. If you prefer to chat, 167.
So all of the information we have that implicates Cran in this is someone wrote Cran's name on a stone that fell. Like, this could be a case of getting what's the word I'm looking for here? Framed.
Yeah, I think we should talk.
Let's do it on 167. Cran, is it?
You cry?
The wicked wizard who laid the curse on Avalon? You scarlet fiend! You monstrous maggot! You terrible tortfeasor! You...
I say, steady on.
Remarks Cran.
Anyone who would think that... Sorry, anyone would think you hadn't come here to rescue me.
Rescue you?
You gasp.
I came here to slit your gizzard!
No, don't be like that.
Protests Cran.
I know I've had some terrible publicity lately, but I never dreamed an adventurer of your caliber would be taken in by it.
Terrible publicity?
You frown, feeling a little bit like Little Sir Echo.
People keep telling me the nastiest things about me.
Cran tells you.
None of it true, of course. Put down your sword for a minute and I'll explain.
Are you going to fall for the silver-tongued smoothie and put down EJ? If so, turn to 174. Otherwise, if you prefer to hurl yourself upon him, 160. Which is the same page as the last one, so, I mean, I'm down to go to 174.
Absolutely.
Hesitantly, never taking your eyes off him, you prop EJ against the cell door.
All right.
You tell Cran grimly.
Let's hear your story.
Not a lot to tell, really.
Cran sighs.
First of all, I'm not a real wizard. I'm an escapologist. The only bit of genuine magic I know is how to turn a bolt of purple lightning how to generate a bolt of purple lightning that turns people into a plum-flavored jelly. Everything else I do is tricks. I do a good vanishing elephant, and I specialize in getting out of chains and locked boxes and so on. Escapology, as I said.
How come you didn't get out of the cell?
You ask suspiciously.
I said I was an escapologist. I didn't say that I was a good one. Most of the locked boxes I get out of have false bottoms, and while I'm very good at locks, this cell has an outside bolt. I couldn't handle that in a fit. So I had to come here and stay until some daring adventurer came along to rescue me.
Then you didn't put the curse on Camelot?
I wouldn't know how.
Then
You ask.
who did?
Cran glances over his shoulder nervously.
The Phantom Grunweasel.
He hisses. All at once, the air is filled with the sound of a full orchestra playing dum-da-dum. You leap back into your karate killer stance,
What was that?
Just ignore it.
advises the wizard Cran.
That always happens when you say the dreaded name.
The Phantom Grunweasel?
You ask. Dum-da-dum-dum.
That's the one I couldn't visualize in my head. I was like, dun, 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 but wait, there's only 3 beats in that.
Yes.
Says Cran. It indicates that the
It indicates that the Phantom Grunweasel.
Dum-da-dum-dum.
is a creature living on the dreaded astral plane, and that anyone who wants to kill it will have to go there to find it.
Good heavens!
You exclaim.
But how does a bold and handsome adventurer get to the astral plane?
There's a megalithic gate on the top of Glastonbury Tor. But to get there, you have to get past the Great Guardian Worm, and that means liberating Pendragon's mirror shield. Quite a complicated process, really.
Do you know where I can find Pendragon's mirror shield?
You ask, getting right to the heart of the matter. Gran shakes his head.
No, but I can tell you this. Without the universal key, you won't be able to open the box where Pendragon hid his shield.
Astral planes, guardian worms, mirror shields, and universal key. This adventure is turning into a monumental tangle, and no mistake, you take a deep breath.
I don't suppose you know where I can find the universal key?
You ask. Kren grins amiably.
In my pocket,
he says.
And I shall be delighted to let you have it as a reward for rescuing me.
What a pleasant turn of events. Now you've got the universal key. Now all you need to do is find the mirror shield, defeat the guardian worm, climb Glastonbury Tor, discover the megalithic gateway, travel the astral plane, seek out the phantom Grunweasel,
Dum-dum-dum.
And slaughter it to lift the curse on Camelot. But right now you better turn to 75 to pick another option. 75.
Universal key I will add to our inventory. 75, of course, is back at our selection. I gotta say, what did I say? I think there's a key item here. The item was a key, as it turns out.
It's true.
Also, for performance, I think whoever reads the name Phantom Grunweasel, the other person just does the beats while the original person just continues talking. So that it's just like happening in the background, like the universe, like it's the score.
Yeah, I'm with it. The question here is,
Did we bother continuing to explore?
Thinking that like we probably got the best possible stuff logically out of it?
I tend to agree. I would be more than happy to go to a different area unless any of these give us information.
I mean, I'm down to be done and maybe like come back if we hit a wall.
Sure. So we checked cells 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to mark them off on my map.
Great. So then I guess we would follow
so
the
far as I
back
can
to
tell.
68.
Back to 68, yes. So that'll take us to the opening of the dungeon room that got us here. To the south, there's another corridor, and to the west, there's another corridor.
Yes. Let's go to probably west, I guess. 100?
Sure. On the even hundo.
Trouble! The corridor runs west into a guard room,
And east, 68.
housing 3 of the most unpleasant-looking guards you've ever seen. But they were obviously men at one time, but the curse seems to have gotten to them, and they are now covered in fungus like the castle itself. This does absolutely nothing to improve their appearance. Or their temper, come to that. Since they have leapt forward to attack you fiercely, you may, however, bribe one or more of them at 1,000 gold pieces each. Oh boy.
Assuming you have loot and they accept it.
So if you can't or don't want to bribe, you have to fight them all. They start on a 5 or better for +3 and have 25 life points. If you kill all the guards, return to 68 or east to 82.
So we do have the ability to move beyond this guard room, but only if we fight them.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Excellent. Roll initiative for the first of these Fungord guards.
1.
4. We're going to be going first. EJ immediately leaps into the fray. They're in our way. And strikes for a total of 8 damage to the first of these guards, taking them down to 17 HP remaining.
First one goes and does not hit with a 4.
Perfect. Ooh, that's a 9 on response.
Don't we have like 15
it's
health?
a total of 10 damage. 37 at the moment.
Oh, dang.
That was the 2 rests and the 1 charge of the healing wand.
Yeah. Okay. Another attack. It is a 6, which is a hit. For 5, assuming we have no armor.
For 4, is it not?
Wait.
Strikes on a 5 or better and +3. So I think he does 4 damage.
Oh shoot, you're right. I was like
HP.
5, 6. That's 2.
I have great news about this first guard.
Is he dead style?
He's now rotting more vigorously than before.
Did we knock him out on 5?
Oh, no. We absolutely murdered him, but, he's covered in mushrooms. What state of someone covered in mushrooms is dead? Is it not just living differently?
That's true. I rolled an 8, so that's a 6 damage.
Oof. Down at 27 HP on us, and striking at the second guard now. Oh! The EJ is stuck fiercely inside the skull of the first guard, and it takes a turn to prise him loose.
Ooh. Oh boy, and it struck him true. He's got a snake eyes.
Ah! That was the same as we had previously.
You learn from the best.
EJ swings for a total of 7 damage this time, and he's down on 18 HP from their original.
Retaliates with a whopping 4. These guys aren't very good.
Ooh, I love a 4.
It's true. It's as close as it can get to being nothing on these guys. It's nice.
That's another 7 back in their direction for a very similar result to before. That's 3 above plus 5. They're down to a total of 10 HP points remaining. Any strike will do it.
The luck has run out a little. That is a 10. So that is a 8 damage.
Yes, it is. Taking us down to 19. Oh! It's good that any hit will do it, because we hit for exactly 5 to make this mycological guard unconscious.
Right. Next one. So angry. A little too angry. Gets a 3. And misses completely.
Ooh. In their fury, they've opened themselves up to a brutal attack. A 10 is 6 plus 5, 11 damage. Taking the enemy down straight to 14 on their way to 14.
Oh. Yeah, that is definitely a strike of 3. That's 6 damage.
Oof, we're not looking that great. We're down on 13 HP ourselves at this point.
Oh god.
But the opposite. The furthest you can possibly get from a Snake Eyes is enough to incapacitate our remaining foe. With 8 plus 5, 13. Yep, 8 plus 5, 13. They are left on 1 HP.
Should we one blast our head?
I think we should one blast our head.
That's a 4. Which means we don't
doesn't
one
kill
blast
us.
our head. You want to roll the help?
9 HP. Up to 22.
I really want to just keep doing it. It's literally just like Russian roulette. I'm doing it. 4. I made the judgment call.
I love it. That's an 11, baby! That's a solid heal. We're up on 33.
Let this be a lesson to you, kids. Something.
Always play Russian roulette. You never lose. I mean, what? You win or you die?
Yeah, you won't be embarrassed. You'll be dead.
Worst case, you'll just come back to this page. Start of the section.
Oh, no. Easy. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Move west to 82.
Oh, we absolutely need to, yes. We've gained 3 experience from the slaughter of these 3 guards.
Stairs going up, Pip. This is always an exciting find.
And sometimes even as dangerous as stairs going down.
If you want to climb these stairs, go to 102. Otherwise, back up. I'm down to go to 102. The stairs emerge into an open hallway, empty of anything nasty.
Or anything nice, for that matter.
And with exits north, south, west, and east. Oh my, okay. 128, 136, 145, and 100. We've been to none, theoretically.
We have been to 100, I'm almost certain.
Really? What was 100?
That would be back down the stairs into the guard room.
You're right. Just didn't mark that one down. All right. North is 128.
Let's do it. 128.
You're in a corridor running north and south. Torches have been set in the wall brackets so you can see a long way. There are 3 openings in the western wall and one towards the northern end of the eastern wall. These places can get confusing without a map, Pip. The first opening on the western wall will take you to 148. The second may be reached on 154. Third on 110. If you decide to go via the eastern opening, turn to 113. You can continue north to 131. There's so much of this in this book.
There is indeed. It's slightly unfortunate, but I will attempt to, with your able assistance, make this a digestible experience for those listening. Which I think is very easily handled in some fashions by our favoring of both North and East.
Yeah,
I am mapping this for what it's worth. Well, I mean, is it unclear? There is a North, but there's also an East.
North?
We could continue north on this corridor past all of these rooms to 131, or we could go to the singular entrance on the eastern wall at 113.
I'm on 131.
Let's do it.
The corridor runs northwards for quite a distance before ending in a flight of stone steps leading downwards. There's no torches on the walls here, and the section of the corridor is very gloomy indeed. From the dark depths at the bottom of the steps, you can hear a peculiar sound, similar in some respects to the bloop of bubbles rising from a swamp. Not sure I like the sound of that, Pip, but if you want to go down those stairs, you may do so on 195, or you can always backtrack to 128. I mean, we're like on the hunt for things.
We are. Do we feel like we're going back into the dungeon to look for things, or further away?
I'm happy to go.
This is still north.
I'm happy to go 195 and exhaust it. And if we die, we die. Cautiously, you descend.
That's so gruesome.
What's that?
There's a page that depicts what would happen if you rolled a 6 on the healing wand.
Oh. Cautiously, you descend the stairs, EJ at the ready. As you do so, the curious blooping noise increases, and a stifling pong assails your nostrils. You notice the walls of the staircase are covered in the same rotted fungus you saw in the exterior of the castle. Nonetheless, you persevere. And as you reach the 13th step, the fungus begins to glow, casting a pale, eerie light.
Go back.
A voice ahead calls weakly, but weak or not, it sounds familiar.
Go back.
Calls a different voice, equally weak and familiar.
Please go back,
Cries a female voice.
Oui.
Adds yet another voice weakly.
Vous must aller backwards.
And that voice, breaking intermittently into his native French, is absolutely recognizable as belonging to the brave hero Sir Lancelot du Lac. Ignoring the advice, you take one more step downwards, and suddenly all is revealed. The staircase leads into a pit-like chamber, virtually filled with oozing fungus, and trapped like flies in the glue is the entirety of the company of the Table Round: King Arthur, Queen Guinevere, Lancelot, Pellinore, Galahad, Percival, Mordred, and the rest, all up to their necks in the fungus, looking in a maggoty bad order. One step more and you're in the fungus yourself, Pip, but if you want to plunge in for a lunatic rescue attempt, turn to 203, or if you'd like to chicken out, turn to 157. Which,
I mean,
we've not been.
Everyone's telling us that this is a bad idea. I'm assuming we cause their doom or our own should we proceed.
I'm assuming that. You're probably right. Yeah. I'm curious, because, the reason I'm curious to go to 157, the quote-unquote chicken out page, is because it actually leads us to somewhere we've never been.
I would love to go to the chicken out page.
Oh, okay. All right. Chicken out then.
It's the one I would prefer, as the alternative appears to be almost certainly death.
All right. 157.
What's happened here, Your Majesty?
Oh, we're not even running it. Okay. You call, not going back as instructed, but not going forward either.
We have been trapped by the castle. By the curse, sorry.
Gasps the king. It's okay, he's sick.
If you attempt to rescue us now, you will surely die. Our only hope is for you to go back and try to break the curse.
Since even kings can be wrong, you may still leap in and try and rescue at 203, but if you think it's wise to go back, you may retrace to 128. I believe him.
Mm-hmm. He hasn't lied yet.
It's true. So I guess we retrace back to 128, it says.
Mm-hmm. Which is the landing of the upper floor from the dungeon, where north we found 3 bracketed entrances on the west and 1 on the east in the northern corridor.
All right. Western wall takes 148, second 154, third 110. Eastern opening 113. That's the next one that we like.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it sound familiar? I don't know.
It's probably because we just came from 131. It's just transposition, baby.
The corridor runs east and west, forming a T-junction at its western end, with another corridor and ending in a gloomy flight of stone steps leading downwards at the eastern end. You can go west to the T corridor at 128, but if you want to risk going down those gloomy steps, go to 175. We've been to 75, right? We've not been to 175, have we? Have we?
This is interesting. The corridor runs east-west, but it must have started here, forming a T-junction. Oh, 128 would just take us back to, yeah, got it. This does make sense. Never mind, I am incorrect. I do think we haven't been to 175, though.
All right, let's go.
I think it's a new, different part of the underground.
It's a new bad idea. You've entered a narrow corridor with steps leading upwards at the western end and a dead-end blank wall to the east. Climbing the steps takes you to 113. Trying to walk through the blank wall will probably take you to a hospital with a severe headache, but if you want to search for a secret door in it, you can do so at 186.
Oh, never mind, thank you. I'm gonna walk away. That's my impression of not me.
Yeah. Diligently, you examine the wall, your nose only inches from the stonework. Throw under a 6, and you can't find any door in the wall, in which case turn to 175. Throw a 6 or better, and a one-way door opens up, allowing you to direct access. So that has to be a 2-roll die.
It has to be. Throw a 6 or better. It's only possible on 2 die.
I got a 7.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
It's a one-way passage as well. Worth noting, so
115.
I'll depict that on my maps insofar as I can. 115.
You drop down almost 5 feet into a chamber so small it's more like a cupboard, but a narrow flight of stone steps leads upwards from the southeastern corner. Since there's nowhere else to go, you climb these steps.
Which are very shallow and seem to go on forever.
Until you reach a trapdoor above you, you unfasten the fixings of the door and climb up into a corridor. The trapdoor slams securely shut behind you, leaving you stuck, it seems, on page 75, which we have been to. Which is the door page. That's
yes, familiar. Exactly. That is our cells.
All right. Well, that path is exhausted at the very least.
Now that because we're in a one-way direction, we have to navigate backwards. We do have like a cogent path that we could take back to pretty much any location here. But while we're here, what if we just rumble another one of these cells?
It's on you.
Cell 2, please. What's behind door number 2, Alex?
The cell door swings back creakily as you reach the boat. You stare into the confines of a 10x10 dungeon in which lurks nothing. Nothing at all. What an anticlimax, and what sort of idiot bars an empty cell? Frantically, you search it. But your first impression was correct. There's nothing here at all.
If you don't count 3 crumbs of moldy cheese in the corner. So far gone that even rats won't touch it.
Better return to 75 to select another option. All right.
Well, that was easy.
We'll open one every time we are forced back to 75. How about that? Boom.
Exactly, sounds great to me. Do we want to go back to any of our available locations, or would we like to go south along the dungeon corridor?
South along the dungeon corridor.
So if we left this room and then immediately went south down the corridor, that is the only unexplored area in the dungeon so far as we're aware at the moment. Or we could go back through the guard tower, go up through the 3 steps in order to get back to the previous floor and explore anywhere.
Let's do that for now and try and exhaust the final fingers of that path. Seem right to me. So
that was for going back upstairs?
Yeah.
Cool. 128. So we have all of the Western choices still available to us, and those are the, I believe, only unique choices we now have at 128.
All right. We need to pick a favorite number between 1, 2, and 3, because that's another thing that happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. I have a strong feeling about 2.
Me too. All right, great. 2's our number.
Hey!
North, east, and 2. That's our MO. So second may be reached on 154. The corridor runs west until it makes a T-junction with another corridor running north and south. Directly opposite you across the north-south corridor is a door. If you want a fuller picture of the corridor, north-south corridor, turn to 163. Which have we been? I don't think so. If you can live without knowing and want to try that door, go to 180. So,
well, I mean, we don't need to try that door in order to check out the north-south of it all.
Yeah, go to 163. Huh. The corridor runs north or south, joins a corridor running east-west. T-junctions at both its northern and southern end, and approximately midway through the eastern wall, the branch corridor runs eastward. Somewhat near the northern end of the west wall, another branch corridor runs westward. There's also 2 doors in the western wall, one opposite the branch corridor to the east and another to the furthest to the south. Sorry, it's just a third of the pages. Confusing, isn't it? Should you wish to enter the east-west corridor, turn to 148. If you prefer to explore the east-west corridor, turn to 110. Branch corridor running east, 154. Branch corridor running west, 111. Northernmost door to the northwest wall takes you 189. The door to the same wall further equals 119. If you want to go anywhere else from here, you're going to have to dig or fly. Interesting. That feels like it's relevant to something, but who knows?
Somewhere near the northern end, in the west wall, another branch corridor runs westwards. There's also 2 doors in the western wall, one opposite the branch corridor to the east, and the other a little further south. So I'm losing the trail as soon as we get that many different instructions at the same period of time, but it seems like 2 of these corridors run back to the rooms in the other side. However, it is possible the game is doing something where it's trying to hide one of those 3 in and amongst these descriptions of one of these actually doesn't continue through to the wall, or one of the doors on the other side doesn't actually go into these hallways.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I look at this and my eyes glaze over. There's so many options, and they're all just directions. So, explore the east-west corridor to the north, 111. Yeah, I mean, north is the only word Oh, and that's... I see. These are the options that we had on the last page. Gotcha. 148 and 110 are options on the last page as well. So 154...
Yes, those are the east-west corridors that appear to have connected to the other one. Yeah.
So there's 154, 111, 189, and 119.
So...
The northernmost door on the western wall turns to 189. How about that? That's a north takes us somewhere. Wait, 189.
Slightly understand. Somewhere near the northern end, in the west wall, another branch corridor runs westwards. There's also 2 doors in the western wall, one opposite the branch corridor to the east, and the other a little further south. I'm starting to lose the thread on this, so let's just go to 189.
All right.
I'm almost certain that is not the correct one.
Yep. Interesting. That's not right. Huh. Well, let's hope that that's not important. So 163. Oh boy. Okay.
I will make a very slight editor's note at this point that one of the reviews I read about this book said that some things actually don't connect and some things don't logically work. So if we encounter something like that, we may have to work around the edges. For the moment, though.
Yeah. You pick a page.
The door in the same wall further south leads to 119. Let's go to the other door that we can't. Or rather, that we didn't.
Which is?
119.
All right. Good grief, there's a 2-headed dog in here. Great ugly brute it is, too, with eyes like saucers and savage fangs. Fortunately, it's securely chained to a metal spike driven into the center of the floor. A little beyond the brute is a wooden chest, possibly chock-a-block with treasure, or perhaps even containing the mirror shield of the Uther Pendragon. Problem being, of course, whether you're nosy enough to risk the dog in order to find out what's in that chest. If not, you can always step back to 163. If you want to make a move towards the chest, 191.
Sounds like 191. It could have the mirror shield. I mean, it just said that it might, so it probably doesn't, but it could.
Yeah, exactly. You take a step forward.
Hold it!
Says one head of the dog.
Oh, come on, Stanley.
Growls the other head.
Just let the adventurer have a look at the chest.
Certainly not, Charles.
Snaps the first head.
It's our job to guard it.
I don't see why, Stanley. There's nothing valuable inside. No bones, no biscuits, not even a rubber ball to play with.
You're far too frivolous, Charles.
Snarls head Stanley.
All you can do is think of eating and playing. Where's your sense of duty?
Excuse me?
You put in hesitantly. Both heads swing back towards you.
I never met a talking dog before.
You frown.
Or one with two heads either, for that matter.
You must have led a very sheltered existence.
Remarks head Charles.
Not really.
You reply.
But since you can talk, I wonder if you'd allow me to have a quick look in the chest. I'd hate to have to kill you to get to it.
Both heads begin to giggle.
Kill us? You gotta be joking.
Head Stanley adds.
We ate a dragon for breakfast.
You ate a dragon for breakfast, you greedy pig.
Exclaims head Charles.
You wouldn't let me get anywhere near it.
No, I didn't.
Exclaims head Stanley.
Share and share alike is my motto. You know that.
I know nothing of the sort. Let me tell you.
Are you going to stand here all day listening to this silly mutt squabble with itself, or are you going to take the opportunity of creeping past it with a sneaky look in the chest, unless you want to leave it to 163?
Which you're perfectly entitled to do.
Roll 2 dice, score 3 or better, and go to 200, score under 3,
Which only leaves you with 2.
and go to 155. Huh?
I mean, surely we take the sneaky opportunity.
Yeah, I guess. And I got a 3!
Perfect. That's enough. 3 or better, and we go to page 200.
200.
And what about the day you...
To the sound of a two-headed dog arguing with itself in the background, you creep quietly into the room and gently open the lid of the chest.
I did nothing of the sort, Stanley. You, on the other hand...
There's a skeleton in the chest, and an animated skeleton at that. It raises one skeletal hand and places a bony finger on its lips.
Or at least to where its lips would be if it had any.
It whispers.
What are you doing in here?
You whisper to the skeleton.
Hiding from that stupid dog. What do you think I'm doing?
Hisses the skeleton.
Is there anything else in there with you?
You ask quietly.
A mirrored shield, for example? I'm afraid not.
Whispers the skeleton.
The best I have to offer is a minor amulet of destruction, MAD for short, which adds 5 points to any damage you score for the first blow of a combat, but doesn't do anything thereafter. It's good for 4 fights, and you're very welcome to it. Thank you.
You say politely to the skeleton, taking the minor amulet of destruction, which seems to be of Roman manufacture. You close the lid of the chest carefully. Okay.
I mean, for what it's worth, Stanley was wrong. There are bones in this chest.
It's true. Okay. Back to 163, the page from hell. The branch corridor running westwards is at 111. All right, let's just go with 111. How about that? How about that?
Let's do it.
Just, I don't know. This corridor runs east-west, forming a T-junction with the north-south running corridors at both of its ends. The western junction may be reached as 171. The other is at 163. So 171, have we been there? No. God, there's so many things to look at now. I mean, let's go there. Let's exhaust it, I guess.
Do it.
For the love of God. This corridor runs north-south, turning east at both ends. There's a branch corridor running east about 10 feet south of the northern turning. It may be entered at 111. The northern corridor running east is 110. Southern is 148. Okay. So this is just a different way to get to... Okay. It's a different way to get to the other places we can already get to. So let's just maybe mentally... Yeah. Block it off. Go to... Have we been to... We've been to 154, right? Yes. Good God. So that does just leave us with 110 and 148 on this branch anyways.
I mean, we're closer to 148 right now.
Let's do 148.
Oh, boy.
The corridor runs due west, eventually turns north, but before that happens, you notice a branch corridor running north as well. 171 and 163 are both the pages we can get to, but we've already been to those, so that's irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. So let's head back the way we came and then head to page 110.
All right. This corridor runs due west, eventually turns south. About halfway along, there's a branch corridor running south. 171. Okay, great. Yeah. Wait. That chops us off of, like, almost everything. There's 154. So if we go to 154, we still have the option to go to 180 to try the door.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Try that.
I suspect what happened there is we selected very well with our initial door there to avoid the puzzle to find this door.
Yeah. What a curious room.
There's a diagram of it on page 205.
The floor is marble tiled with a mosaic border running all the way around. Immediately in the front door is a row of 3 giant pumpkins cut out with grinning faces like Halloween lanterns. I love that. Towards the far end of the room, you can see 2 massive marble pillars carved in the shape of a gigantic question mark. Wait, 2, both carved into gigantic question marks. Inlaid into the floor before the pillars is a vast
and ominous
skull and crossbones. Flanking the symbol are 2 fine examples of an extremely rare long-tailed Manx Felix terribilis, possibly the most dangerous of all the cat family, including the saber-toothed tigers. Squatting behind the pillars, unmindful of the fearsome cats, is a cute little bunny wearing a pink jacket and waving at you in a friendly manner. But the most interesting thing of all is the stone arm emerging from the far left-hand corner of the wall, for this arm is attached to a stone hand which grasps a large leather purse on which someone has drawn the universally recognizable symbol of the Goldsmiths Guild, indicating the purse contains a lot of loot. There is, however, a problem here. If you want to reach the purse, you can make your way through the pillars and past the friendly bunny, but this involves stepping on the inlaid skull and crossbones on 193. If you feel happier avoiding the skull and crossbones, you're forced to try and get past the fearsome Manx cats on 165, or the right-hand one at 116, or you can forget about the purse and leave the room at 163, and even try munching on one of the pumpkins on 140. Okay. So step 1, 180. Let's look at I'm going to look at the map on 205. It looks like an MS Paint drawing.
It's so good. It's so good.
So good. It looks like clip art. Like, I think it might be.
Yeah. It's like the clip art from the very first version of Word.
Exactly. It's so... Oh my god. It's so good. Okay. What the hell do we do with this information? Also, I love that we got a picture of this because it doesn't necessarily add anything to our context.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost entirely useless, except for in demonstrating that we could not just, edge past anything. But the game tells you what pages to go to, so it could have dictated that anyway. All this... I think we should munch one of these pumpkins because it's the least intimidating option, and I think it's possible that we might imbue ourselves with resistance.
Sure. So that is on 140. Let me just write down a couple of these. 193, 165. Oh my god. 116. 163, which we've been, and then 140. All right. On to 140 to eat some pumpkins. And you bite a piece of the nearest pumpkin, which promptly bites you back, removing 7 life points from your leg. All right. That's that.
Fair enough.
Go back to 180. That makes sense. Left-hand one. Should we go for the 165, the left-hand cat, because it's where the hand on the wall is?
Sounds good to me. 165.
But that's also probably the logical one, which is probably why it's going to be punished. As you approach the left hand... Wait, what is this thing called?
A Manx, the Felix Terribilis.
It stands up, stretches lazily, and hands you a printed card. And on it are the words...
I am obliged to inform you that I am trained in karate and that my hands and feet are registered with the authorities as dangerous weapons. Signed, Left Hand Felix Terribilis.
Are you sure you want to tackle a trained karate cat? If so, turn to 135.
But we can also try something else at 180. What if we interrogated the other cat?
Sure. Let's see. Right hand one is 116. As you approach the right-handed Manx, it stands up, stretches lazily, and hands you a pretty card. On it are the words,
I am obliged to inform you that I am trained in karate, and my hands and feet are registered with the authorities as dangerous weapons. Signed, right hand, Felix Terribilis.
135. It takes us to the exact same page for what it's worth.
I think we should tackle a karate cat then.
I guess so.
So!
Screams Karate Cat, voicing the ancient Manx war cry and moving with the lightning rapidity. It leaps into the air to deliver a vicious dropkick to your throat. So quickly indeed that it gets the first strike, causing 5 points of damage. If you die, oh, okay. Alright, it has 50 life points, strikes on a 4 or better, doing +3. We're gonna die.
Yeah, probably. It has about double HP to us. We're on 21. It's on 50. We do hit for a +5 on our first blow, should we use the minor amulet. Or we could kind of, play with the reasonable mindset that we probably die in this fight.
Yeah, it strikes on a 4 or better, which we do know is basically, like, almost all the time.
Yeah, if we had any damage mitigation, like any armor, I would be much, 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 much keener on this.
Alright, well, and it's too late to shoot yourself in the head with the heal wand.
Yeah, maybe we should have done that. Alas.
Alright, well, I guess let's give it a go. So you took the 5 already. What are we at?
21
Okay.
after the 5 was taken.
Alright.
And that was its first strike.
That was
so
its
means
first
it's
strike.
our turn to respond. And with the minor amulet, we do a total of 13 damage on our first strike, taking the enemy straight to 37. That's a very true hit.
First number's a 1. Second number's a 2!
Ooh, that doesn't hit, baby.
That just needs to keep happening every time.
Could you force the dice to roll that way, please? Thank you.
I'll try. I mean, I could. I could just pick it up and put it right back down. 1. Oh, that actually turned it to a second. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Before turning to the next stage, place 2 die. If you have placed above a 6, we do 6 damage to the enemy, taking them down to 31. They're no longer double our HP at this point.
First die is a 1.
Huh?
Second die is a 4.
Eh.
So it's a 5 though. So it's could be worse. That's 4 damage. Could be worse.
It could be a lot worse, certainly. We're down now to 17 HP remaining on ourselves. What does EJ have to say about this? Ooh, a fair bit. Mouth off, EJ. Let him have it. That's a 9 on the roll for another 10 straight to the enemy. They're on 21, the HP that they left us on after their initial rude strike.
This is closer than I would have anticipated. First roll is a... Okay, well, it's a 3. That's not a good start. Okay, well, that is a 7, which is 6 damage.
Down to 11 HP ourselves. We
It
do
could
not
be
want to get
worse.
hit again.
Pip, pip, pip.
No. That's the average result. That's a 7.
It's still something.
3, 8. 8 damage total here, taking the enemy down to 13. If they don't hit this turn, we're great. If they hit for very little damage this turn, we're okay.
I got a 1. Great start. This is okay. I'm using up all of our luck. And snake eyes!
Yeah.
I swear to all that is cat, because I love cats. So let's kill this cat.
Mm-hmm. I also now need not to roll lower than a 4, otherwise everything's kind of back in jeopardy.
You better not.
That's an 8. That's an 8 total, which is 4 above base value for a total of +5. That leaves the enemy on 4 HP remaining. They are unconscious.
I rolled a 4 on my next one. Okay, there it is.
Which
that
would
was
not
an
have
11.
taken us out.
Then this is an 11. Okay. So, dang.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm rolling low right now when I'm needed to roll low, except for that one that was an 11.
Now that you are rolling low, though, maybe you should roll 1
Shoot
to 5
ourselves
for a
with
healing charge.
That's a 5. No, no shot to the dome. I'm doing it again.
Ooh, for an 11 HP heal.
That's a 4. Should I keep on
4,
going? Or have I
eh?
used up the magic? What do you think?
There is no using up the magic of this one. For
No, I mean
6,
2.
28
I mean,
total.
I mean, the low roll magic.
Was that a 2?
Yep. And now I think I'm done pushing my luck.
Cool. That leaves us then on 35 out of 42.
That's not bad. This wand is great. I mean, and it's the funny thing is it's basically like the sleep time, but it just feels great because it's so quick. It's so snappy. And more importantly, it hasn't punished us yet, even though it definitely can. So it's a good. The second we roll a 6, then it's bad, and I hate it, and I never want to touch it again.
But until such a time, no possibility of doing so.
Yep, we can go to the stone arm on 169. Well, you made it. The stone arm growing out of the wall opens its hand as you approach, allowing the purse to fall.
With an interesting clink of golden coins.
On the floor. Swiftly you scoop it up, greedily you rip it open, delightfully you discover it contains no less than 1,000 bright new gold pieces and a small white pill. Undoubtedly you will take the gold, but if you wish to swallow the pill, you should turn now or later to 183, otherwise make your way back to 163. I mean, do you wanna?
Maybe we should talk to the cat first, just in case this would otherwise teleport us away. No, wait. Otherwise, make your way back to 160. Oh, never mind. I don't even get to stay in this room.
Oh. I mean, we'll take the 1,000 gold. That's fine.
Not bad.
All right. So that brings us to the situation where we... Huh? Are we done? No. Oh, we'd go all the way down to 102, wouldn't we?
Oh boy.
Yeah. We've exhausted everything except for back down the stairs. Way far back. We have 136 and 145 left. So...
I'll happily take either.
Oh, it's at 136.
136.
This corridor runs southwards for perhaps 50 feet before you notice signs of recent construction work. As you move a little further, you see the corridor has been carefully blocked using rough stone and mortar, while just before the blockage, a chute has been constructed, plunging downwards into darkness. On the wall beside the chute, someone has hastily scrawled a series of numbers. 14, 5, 5, 20, 18, 21, 15, 6, 15, 20, 19, 4, 8, 15, 23, 42, 5, 20, 21, 8, 3, 19, 9, 8, 20. Which might represent technical instructions to the builders or might not. Meanwhile, you have the choice of sliding down the chute to 197 or returning to 102 to select another direction.
So this is very clearly a direct substitution
of
the number
letters.
For its... Yeah, exactly. Which, unfortunately, I don't immediately just have a decoder for. Let me see if I can just find one randomly.
This chute... What? This chute leads to 14, is what it says.
Oh.
So, which might represent instructions. Meanwhile, you have your choice of sliding down the chute to 197 or returning to 102. So, I'm going to say we don't go down to the chute.
How does it say this chute leads to...
Backwards.
Ah.
Yeah, it's numbers to letters, and then you flip it backwards.
Got it.
I found it.
Well done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's return to 102 and then take the other available path.
The corridor runs west for perhaps 100 feet before ending in a door which you notice states prominently...
Sorry, which page is this on?
145. Sorry.
145. Thank you kindly. 145.
Danger! Keep out!
You may, of course, ignore this warning by opening the door on 177 or backtrack to 102. We don't have anywhere else to go.
Sorry, bud, it's gotta be 177. I'll meet you in there.
Ka-ping. It's a spear trap. There's... What? There's nothing behind the door but a blank wall into which has been set a cunning spring-loaded mechanism which launches a spear at anybody daft enough to open the door. Okay. You take 2d6 of damage.
Oh, not necessarily, which leaves us with the question of whether or not we're skewed.
Oh, 7 or better and the spear misses you.
And it does.
Great.
But the only available option is to return to 102.
Which has me very confused.
So I will say, that is this corridor path here. I guess we technically got the white pill out of exploring this area as well. That's this corridor path here, whereas if we go back out to 163 and then head south, we end up in yet another less explored area.
What is that area?
So that is the full crossroad junction that we came to after ascending from the guards in the dungeon.
Which number? Do you know? Everything I got marked off, basically. Everything's pretty much since we've entered the castle, I have crossed out right now.
Well, I know 100 was the guard tower, so the guard room, so it's wherever that leads to. Move west to 82. Stairs going up, and those stairs lead to 102, as I might have assumed.
Which we have exhausted.
No, we haven't. So the northern exit from here is what leads to the entire mess. Whereas
128, 136, and 145 are the 2 pages we just did that I brought us to.
Oh, right. Apologies. I didn't understand that that's where we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that does.
Are we supposed to just leave?
I mean,
the last place that we have that has pages we haven't been is
the dungeon, where there's 2 cells that we haven't done, as well as the southern original option.
Interesting.
I mean, if we go to the dungeon downstairs, we can head to 68, which has a southern path. So that would be immediately after we left the dungeon cell that we broke into Camelot through. Leaving that door and heading left, which takes south, would be to 91.
I'll just say yes. All right. Corridor runs north-south, ending in a flight of gloomy stone steps at its southern end. Lead downward into darkness, broken by the barest flicker of dull red light somewhere below. Taking the steps down leads you to 81, which we have not been.
Can't have been. This is even below the dungeon.
So, back. All right. 81, in we go. Nasty, it's a torch chamber. The dull red glow you saw is coming from the charcoal brazier, which is various branding irons and metal pincers stuck into it, and it's already red hot. Chains and manacles hanging from the wall. There's a cabinet full of thumbs, screws, cat o' nine tails, whips, clubs, canes, vicious canister of itching powder. The center of the chamber rack is for increasing people's height alarmingly, and over by the east wall is an Iron Maiden closed and bolted. It is the Iron Maiden which attracts your immediate attention. The unpleasant device is sort of an upright coffin with huge sharp spikes in the lid facing inwards. Anyone put in the Iron Maiden will normally prefer to leave the door open, since if it shuts, the spikes reduce the life points at a fearsome rate of knots, usually sending the occupant swiftly to 14, which, by the sound of the groans emerging from within, is precisely what this particular Iron Maiden is doing right now. Standing before the Iron Maiden, chuckling evilly to himself, is a muscular individual in a leather apron and a hood mask, with, fortunately, his back turned to you. Since King Arthur was never one for torture, you might conclude this whole depressing business is a pretty new addition to Camelot, possibly the result of the curse. But new or not, you will have to make a decision about what to do with the poor twit groaning in the Iron Maiden. You can leap bravely to the Iron Maiden
and the giggling hooded muscle man
at 96, or creep quietly back up the steps to 91. Well,
obviously we got to take this man out.
To 91? Oh, is that right? I guess maybe, probably.
Yeah, that's correct. That's the top of the flight of stairs.
81, 91, so 96. Because we might as well. We're desperate for impactful choices. Not unexpectedly, question before this. What do we have for health?
35. We're doing well.
Let's go. Not unexpectedly, he stopped giggling and is turning towards you, a vicious chain mace dangling from his right hand.
What have we here?
He asks rhetorically.
A fresh, young, handsome adventurer come to give old Boris a little entertainment, eh? A brave little hero wants to make his name by hacking up the famous hooded torturer of Camelot. A foolish individual seeking to rescue the hapless victim of a dreaded Iron Maiden. What? Yikes!
The last remark arose because the old windbag talked so much he managed to get in the first blow with EJ, neatly removing 7 of his life points. Even so, it's not going to be a particularly easy fight. Boris, the famous torturer of Camelot, has 30 points, minus the 7 you already lopped off. 7. And hits on a 5 or better with the lethal mace doing +5, every bit as much as EJ himself. If you survive the encounter, you may open the Iron Maiden on 78.
If not, you may open your eyes at page 14.
Oh my god.
Let's do it.
So do I roll initiative on that?
No. So we got the first strike, so it's now your turn.
Well, I would have got initiative anyways, because he rolled crazy style. That is a 6, which I'm pretty sure is damage. Yeah,
6
that's
total damage.
That 6 is 6 damage.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see if we can use EJ to parry this lethal mace. And, oh boy, not only can we can riposte with quite a flurry. It's a quick series of 3 blows as we roll an 11 and do 7 + 5 for 12 total damage, taking the hooded assailant down to 11.
My god. Swings back with a mighty 5. Doing 5 damage.
Ooh.
I like this guy's hit on a 5 doing +5. I like it because it makes the math easy.
It really does. If only well, actually, I don't want EJ to be harder to hit. EJ connects for 3 +. Yep, enemy is now unconscious.
Seemed kind of like a pushover.
Seemed a lot like a pushover, yeah.
30 health is nothing, especially if you give us a free 7. If you survive the encounter, you may open the Iron Maiden on page 78. You step across the prostrate body of the famous torturer of Camelot, carefully using his head as a stepping stone and approaching the Iron Maiden. Pitiful groans still emerge from within, which is probably a good sign since it suggests whoever's in there is still alive. The famous torturer, who is obviously a man with a sense of humor despite his leather apron, since he has given the Iron Maiden a whimsical name, Frida. You know this because it's engraved on a brass plaque set into the door of the device. The actual words read,
Hi, I'm an Iron Maiden. My name is Frida. Stop reading stupid notices and get me out of here!
calls a hollow voice from within. But as you reach forward to open the lid of the cabinet, suddenly you realize this is easier said than done. It's firmly secured by a combination lock.
Get me out! Get me out!
Shrieks the voice from within. You ignore it and bend forward to examine the lock, which is numbered 1 to 9. Your experience tells you must be a simple 2-figure combination to release the lock. But which 2 figures and in what order? When and if you discover the 2 figures that will open Frida, add 100 to them and turn to the section that it indicates. If you fail to figure it out, your only option is return. What? Where can we even go?
Frida. Does that tell us anything? I'm an Iron Maiden. My name is Frida. Lock is numbered 1 to 9. I don't know. I can only suppose that there must be contiguous to us a different way to get this information. 2 of the only ways I can think of are both cells. If we would like to scurry up to the north and check the final cells.
Sure, I guess so. 75.
So we have cell 1, which is 89, and cell 6, 139. So let's start with 89.
Okay. The cell door swings back quickly as you release the bolt. You stare into the confines of a 10x10 dungeon in which lurks 3 fungoid zombies. You've never seen such hideous creatures. Pip, zombies are bad enough, but fungoid zombies. The mold holds together the bits that would normally have fallen off and gives them extra strength in any fight. They do not, however, move any faster than ordinary zombies. So there's a chance you might be able to slam the door shut again if you want to avoid a fight. If you don't want to avoid a fight,
And there's no accounting for taste.
go directly to 84. If you want to try slamming the door, roll 1 die, 4 or more, and go to 103. Huh. Score 4 or less, go to 85. What do you think?
I mean, regardless of what I think we should heal before we take any of these options, as we're currently on 24 health.
5.
That's 11.
Keep
35
on
HP.
getting a 5.
Those would be safe dream times, too. We're up to 35 HP. I feel a little bit more confident here. I do think that if we want to explore entirely, it would be killing them, right?
Yeah, I think we kill him.
84.
That's 84. Each fungoid zombie has a horrifying 22 life points. Hits on a 6 or better for +3. And will strangle you to death on a natural 12. Survive this mess, go to 105.
All right, don't crit us then. Just don't crit us.
Okay. Initiative
roll.
4.
4 as well. It's a push.
Oh.
5.
4. Well,
hell yeah. Do we want to use the minor amulet for +5 damage on the first blow of this fight?
probably since instant death is on the line.
Sounds good. I'm pretty happy about it as well, because we're going to do 11 damage with our first strike, taking the enemy down to 11 remaining.
That is a 5, which is, if I remember correctly, not even a hit. Nope.
Not at all for them. Hell yeah. Come on, execution. That'll do it. First zombie down.
Pop. That's the sound it makes.
Mm-hmm.
Next one gets a 6, which is a 3 damage.
32 HP remain on us. Ooh, another 9 straight to the enemy. Love a 9. That's a 10 in damage.
Right. Strikes back with a 6, which is another annoying 3.
Down to 29 HP ourselves, and the return is, unfortunately, I don't believe, enough to put them on the ground. Oh, no, never mind. It is exactly, tell a lie. They are now unconscious.
Alright, the next one says, "How dare you do this to my friend?" And he gets a 10. Well, that's something. That's a 7 damage.
I'm sorry, did you want some too?
Don't do much damage to follow up that remark. It's a total of 7. Enemy's down on 15 HP now.
Ooh. That is an 11. One off of an instant kill. We take those, though.
It's very true. It's very true.
So
So that 11
8.
is 5 plus 3, 8 damage, yes. We're on 14 HP remaining.
Good God.
One more, and we would have made the enemy unconscious. So if we leave them on 6 health here with this roll of 8, we're kind of just toying with them a little.
Well, they don't even hit. They get a 3. That's pretty bad.
Come on, EJ.
So we can take
Come on,
those.
EJ. EJ, come on.
All right. If you survive this mess, turn to 105. Zombies don't have... What? Half pong after you've killed them, Pip.
To be honest, they don't half pong even before you've killed them, but that's another story.
If you can stand the smell, you can search the zombies on 130. Or we can go back.
Ooh, what did we kill them for?
I think we give it a shot. 130. Searching zombies is a dangerous occupation, Pip. There's an excellent chance you might catch the dreaded fungoid rot, a disease that eats up permanent life points. If you still want to search, turn to 112 if you'd rather stay healthy. We are out of freaking options.
I also think that we found the pill that saves us from this, maybe, upstairs.
Perhaps.
Let's go to 112.
Hope this isn't a foolhardy decision, Pip. Throw 2 dice, score a 6 or better, turn to 142. I got a crit. I crit. What a great crit. We just needed a 7. Go to 142.
That was the next one in the barrel as well. We could have been instantly killed.
That is true. Score 6 or less, turn to 123. How fascinating. One of the zombies is carrying an empty cotton reel, a short bit of candle, a box of dead matches, and a steel knitting needle. Another has an elastic band. The third is carrying a full set of plans for a prehistoric creep machine. If you don't see many of these nowadays, turn to page 207 to see what you find with these ingenious plans. What's more, you can use them to make a prehistoric creep machine of your own, which might come in handy later in the adventure. 207. What? Put your cotton reel, of course, and a bit of candle together like that. This is a craft project.
Mm-hmm. It's a craft project relying on tools that might have been much more common in one's house 40 years ago.
Yeah. It looks like a candle with a matchstick on it and a rubber band in it and a pencil on the rubber band. Huh? Well, let's just pretend we made it right because we don't have these tools.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any.
I don't have. It's
any
been an
like that
intervening 30 or so years. None of us have cotton reels and candles lying about anymore.
Okay, so back to 75 for the final one, and then I don't freaking know.
75. So our final, I believe, was 139. Am I incorrect about that?
Nope. Nope. You're not incorrect. 139 is correct. No wonder they kept that cell door bolted. The great hairy thing bearing down on you like the express train, just twice the size of a house, fang like a dinosaur, muscle like an elephant, and has claws like reaping scythes. All right, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's nasty all the same. Looks like you're in for a real hassle here, or perhaps not, since it's susceptible to bribery if you happen to have 1,000 gold pieces handy. If not, you're in for a lethal punch-up with something with 30 life points, strikes on a 5 for +3. Okay. I don't know. That's not that bad.
You know what? We have 1,000 gold pieces. What if we just paid this man? And this is almost entirely because we have 14 health right now.
Okay, fine. Let's go to 109. Let's pay this man.
We pay him off and gain a point of experience for having done so.
The great hairy thing was guarding several ceramic urns, stoppered and sealed with wax. These are just the sort of things you would expect to contain a djinn.
Well, little djinn.
But when you break the seal, the only thing that comes out is a nice, healthy smell of a healing potion. You now have half a dozen healing potions, each capable of restoring a double dice roll of life points. Take them with you and return to 75 and pick a new option, which is both great and terrible, because it means we're lost.
Before we, navigate the fogs of this lostness, should we shoot ourselves in the head or pop a bottle?
Oh, shoot once. I got a 2. We're good. I'll shoot twice. I got a 1.
We're up to 22, and then
Maybe. I feel like we probably should
28.
not. I don't want to chance my luck anymore.
Very fair. I think we should probably pop one of the HP bottles at the absolute least, though.
Yeah.
For another 7, taking us to 35. That's a good HP value, as we found out.
Yeah. This leads us to a situation of being lost.
So I think then we methodically work through options until we find one that is not exhausted, assuming that is the case, which I have to assume. It's all I can do.
Wait, have we been to 91?
91.
Is that the one that... yeah, that's the one that... Yeah.
Yes, that's just above the torture chamber downstairs. So, to that end, perhaps we should head back to...
61, all the way back down?
I was thinking 102, but...
Oh, wait, 102? Have we... Where's 102?
So, 102 would be just before the corridor to the north, and then trying to methodically go through and see if we've any options that we haven't explored.
If we forgot something? Because, I mean, I wrote down everything, and I didn't. But, yeah. In case I forgot to write down something.
So sure. So how about this? I will just run numbers past you as I explain our exploration, and you tell me if that is somewhere we've already been and can ignore.
Great.
Cool. So we go to the main landing. We head up north through the corridor, finding 3 western walls. On the first western wall is 148.
Yep.
Cool. On the second western wall is 154, which I guarantee we've been to, and then 110 is the third. Cool. On the eastern wall, there's 113, which I'm certain we've also done.
113? Let's see.
Yes. That's, if I recall correctly, one of our entrances back down through the secret wall to downstairs.
Let's see. Yep. I have
Cool.
I have so many numbers on my notebook, it's crazy.
On 148, we have the north branch of 171 or the southern branch of 163.
Let's see. 171, yes. 163 is where we came from. So, yeah.
163... Do you have... So 148, yes. 110, yes. 154, yes. 111?
Yep. Leads to 171, which we've already done.
Northernmost is 189?
Yep.
Wait a second! This was the one that we couldn't follow.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, God.
So I think we need to figure out what page 189 is supposed to be.
180, apparently. I've just looked up, which we have already been to.
How?
That's the room with the puzzles.
Yeah, but
I mean, we could step on the skull and crossbones by going to 193. But how is this room? Because this room we found in a different way, I guess. Multiple might lead into similar areas. But we do have a new path here available should we want to step over the inlaid skull and crossbones and approach the friendly bunny.
I think we have... Is this the time which we try the... We never had the pill either, did we?
We haven't used the pill, and we also haven't used or rubbed the green stone. So we have two different options that would just take us to the
I'd
page.
choose pill first, I think, since we got it here, if that makes sense.
Sounds good to me.
Does that seem right? Does it seem like a good enough option?
Let's do it.
What page is that?
183.
You pop the pill, which fizzes a little in your mouth before you manage to get it down.
Have you got a headache or something?
EJ asks curiously. You ignore him and wait. For a moment, nothing happens.
Feeling better?
EJ asks solicitously. You open your mouth to tell him to keep quiet, but before you can say anything, your head explodes. Go to page 118. What? Not page... What? Okay. You open your eyes, not as you might well have expected at the dreaded 14, but in a steadily... Wait, what? Stately, wow. Chamber, all too familiar to you from your visits to the castle in happier days. The pill was very obviously a magical teleportation pill, of course, for standing at the entrance of the doors of the Camelot throne room where King Arthur was wont to give public audiences before the curse was cast upon the land. The place is, frankly, a bit of a mess. The golden throne of Avalon sits to the north, but the marble floor is covered in a dust with a liberal scattering of chicken bones, as if someone brought a horde of messy friends for dinner. The tapestries which once adorned the walls are rippled and torn, with several of them pulled down completely. All four doors of the chamber are slightly ajar, and several of the lamps in the wall niche have been pulled and broken. But at least you know where you are, up to a point. The plan on page 204 shows you which parts of the castle you're familiar with as a visitor. There's several doors you've never been through, so you haven't the slightest notion where they lead working from the plan. You have the option of entering the areas shown by turning to the relevant section number, but you must proceed logically. You can't jump straight from the throne room to the courtyard without... Okay. 204. We have another path. It was the pill all along.
It was.
All right. So 204. Let me get...
Apologetic that we didn't immediately... Oh, Frida's still down there. Wait a second.
I mean, we never got the thing to do it. So, unless we did and we just don't know. Yeah, what the hell? Maybe that's something we would have gotten in the village or something. Who knows? Whatever. They can...
yeah, that makes sense.
It's fine. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. If they're not that now, they're not going to be delayed or...
Exactly.
All right, so entrance is 199.
Sorry. No. So this teleported us to the throne room, right?
Oh, you're right. 118.
You're standing near the entrance doors of the Camelot throne room, which means I guess we're in 164, unless we're on the site. But okay, no, we can see the golden throne, so we're near the entrance, but we're on page 118, which makes sense. This is the throne room. Which means we have 4 different exits. We have one to the south through the waiting room. We have one to the northeast, which is the king's anteroom.
East. Gamer.
176.
With a 208 in the north and west, and then the southern west is 212. I mean...
I stopped listening as soon as I figured out there was a north and east angle.
Bingo, that's the right play. 178.6.
The smallish room is used by King Arthur to robe himself before the formal audiences. 2 cupboards in the room have been emptied. The wardrobe contains 1 ermine cape, but it's been slashed with a dagger. Behind a panel in the eastern wall, you find the semi-secret door Arthur used to reach the corridor leading to his private quarters, but the door has jammed and nothing you do will open it, which means, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, but it's not dangerous.
Not at all, but we can head back to the throne room and then across to 208, just completely across the throne room from us.
Okay. The door opens into a corridor, one you haven't seen before, having no reason to visit this part of the castle. You follow it for 20 yards or so, then stop in horror. The whole ceiling is caved in, blocking the way completely. Sorry, tribute to the upkeep of Camelot since the curse was laid, as you have better things to do than try and dig your way through. Your best course is to return to 118. All right. Exhaust options on 212. The next page.
Mm-hmm.
As we back out of that door that we were just in, we move to our right and follow that wall to 212. The door opens into a dusty corridor on which your footsteps echo hollowly as you follow it all the way to an open door. Through the door, you can see the castle kitchens with the corpses of no fewer than 17 cooks collapsed over a pine wood table on which are laid 17 empty soup plates. One sniff at the plates tells you the whole story. There's a distinct scent of bitter almonds, poison soup. Across the way from this unhappy scene, another door leads into a larder where even the rats have turned their toes up from munching on poisoned bread and cheese. Go back to 118, since there's no other exit from the kitchens. So we have to go to the waiting room on 164. Why do we even have these other rooms? You can... Flavor. Almond flavor. You can well remember the days before when the dignitaries of Avalon would sit in this chamber waiting an audience with the king. Now they would have nowhere to sit. The chairs all have been smashed. A few spots of the exterior fungus have crept in here. Sure sign of the room that's not been used since the curse was laid. Go back to the plan, which we knew that. We were kind of just passing through to 172, to the guard room. There's a full contingent of 12 king's guards in here. All of them dead.
Not to mention a little bit rotted.
Whatever laid the curse on Camelot has a lot to answer for. Double doors to the south lead, as you remember, into the outer courtyard. You do not know where the other two doors lead. Okay.
Only seems appropriate to check some of the offshoots of the guard room. Maybe we find armor.
Let's go for the north and east one. How about that?
Excellent. 217.
Good grief. It's a pit? Someone's laid a huge pit trap right beyond the door, right in Arthur's castle. As if that isn't shocking enough, the fact is that you've fallen down it. Roll 2 points. And
7
subtract.
damage.
All right. Then go back to 172.
We're back down on 28 HP. How do we feel about another shot to the head?
4.
That's 9 healing in response.
Every time I roll, and I just want to keep on going. I should go to Las Vegas after this.
With this kind of luck? Absolutely.
Courtyard 179.
Well, there's the other exit from the guard room on 221.
Yeah, 221. I went to 221. Good grief, it's a pit. Somebody laid a huge pit trap just beyond the door right in Arthur's castle. If it's not shocking enough, the fact is you've just fallen down it. Subtract.
That's funny.
2. I've rolled a 1 to damage. Shoot ourselves in a healing head to counteract it.
Perfect. On aggregate, we heal by 1.
Great. We should fall in pits more often. So now we go through to the courtyard of 179. This area at least hasn't changed. The outer courtyard of Camelot was always grotty, and it's just as grotty now. Grass and weeds grow through the cracks of the paving stones, and the remains of the broken carts are propped against the walls. But at least you can leave the castle here, if that's what you want to do, going through the arch of the tunnel onto 199. Well, we should probably check the stables first, right?
Yeah. There's 2 sets of stables, 190 and 185. One of them is on the eastern side, though. 190.
Decision made. 190. Well, just as you remember, the Camelot stables, now full of rotting straw and old manure with not a horse in sight. You search in the straw, but find nothing. You search the walls, examine the doors, and look up the ceiling, find nothing. You search the floor, and you find nothing. Go back to the plan for a new destination, which is, I guess, just going to be the other stables, right?
Yep. Rito, I'm making a big call here.
Mm-hmm.
All of the previous rooms were not just for flavor, but to exhaust your curiosity. The guards' rooms one being dangerous is similar, so that when you come down here to the courtyard, you might not check both stables. And because of that, they've hidden something very good in the final stable at 185.
Okay. Well, just as you remembered, the Camelot stables now full of rotting straw and old manures with not a horse in sight. You search the straw, you find nothing. You search the walls, examine the doors, and look up the ceiling, but find nothing. You search the floor and find a secret trap door on 216.
Trapdoor.
I think you might have been right on that one. A rickety wooden ladder leads downwards into a narrow stone-flagged tunnel which runs due north for some time, taking so many twists and turns you quite lose your sense of direction. Not that it matters, since the only place the tunnel leads is a stout oakwood door. Reach for your dice and see if you can pick the lock, but EJ whispers.
Try it first. You know, it might just be open.
Don't be silly.
You remark, trying to open the door to humor him, and finding it open. Beyond the door is a 10x10 stone-lined chamber with a spiral staircase at the far end, half filling the chamber itself in the collection of amazing rubbish, old churns, bits of armor, dusty books, walking sticks, battered chests, broken ornaments, in short, an adventurer's dream. You set searching through the rubbish to find anything that might be of use, and in under 15 minutes you've unearthed what must be the find of a lifetime. Half buried beneath a set of old encyclopedias,
Roman edition,
is a wooden case tagged Property of Uther. Inside, you throw it open, you see a fearsome adventurer armed to the teeth with... No, wait a moment. Of course there's no fearsome adventurer in that case. It's your own reflection in a highly polished shield. Property of Uther, this must be it. Pendragon's mirror shield. Seize your booty and race up the spiral staircase, and when the dizziness wears off, find yourself in a corridor which leads via a secret door back to the throne room to 118.
Okay. To 118, which we know... So... The book specifically said that we need to go directly through all of the intervening rooms, which I can't imagine the need for here, but 118 leads to 164. 164 leads to 172, and then 172 leads back to 179.
Which lets us go to 199.
The entrance exit passage.
You enter the exit passage with the sudden realization there are murder holes in the ceiling where the more bad-tempered of Arthur's guards were wont to pour boiling oil and molten lead down on the heads of enemies. But if the curse has done its positive thing, it's put a stop to that sort of nonsense.
Admittedly, by putting a stop to the guards as well.
Thus, you walk safely to the portcullis, and with a little difficulty lower the drawbridge and let yourself out of the castle, which leaves you with the choice of going to Tor at 13 or Glastonbury at 34, which is the Glastonbury from the beginning. It's the same page. Let's go to Tor, right?
Let's do it. Given that he was the only one that was not initially an option to us, I can only imagine that it is progression.
Wait, 13? We got God again.
We got God again. 13 is the use of the magical word, global plock or whatever it was.
Is it? Is it 32? Looks kind of right. I don't know, that might be too... I just see the word Tor on it. I'm just searching Tor.
It's same. 99 is also an entrance to Tor, it appears. None of these look like a reasonable transcription for 13, though. It's only possible that it's the page you pointed out, or 19, so 32 or 99.
I'll say 13 brings us to 32.
Okay, right. Oh.
So I think that this was a different type of oops.
Yeah, I suspect this is part of what had been mentioned in one of those reviews of things not perfectly connecting.
Yeah, so 32 is correct, though. As you follow the road
northwest, which is the one we would have taken as well.
Yeah. Follow the road, as you follow the road, it narrows, roughens, then peters out completely, leaving you to pick your way very carefully through the squishy ground of the Great Marsh. This is the sort of place that could suck you in and drown you very easily. But since you are an experienced adventurer, you test each step before you take it and proceed carefully and slowly towards the curiously round mound of Glastonbury Tor.
I wish you really wouldn't do that,
complains EJ bitterly.
Do what?
You ask.
Use me to test the ground ahead before taking each step. I'm getting very wet. If you keep this up much longer, I'll catch my death of cold. Or, rust.
Button your lip.
You tell him severely, having better things to do than just listen to his sword complaining.
You'll regret it,
he warns. And in the event he is right for a change, with the foothills of Great Tor less than 100 yards away, you prod EJ into the marsh before you test the ground, and... erupts from the sodden ground a nightmare creature more than 50 feet long, leprous, lime green, slimy, heavily fanged, and very, very angry. Towers above you like a serpent preparing to strike, luminous green eyes glaring at you horridly. It says again. It seems you may have disturbed the guardian worm, the monstrous creature which coils the guard safely around to Tor. Worse still, it's reared up with old EJ firmly clamped between his front teeth, leaving you swordless. Since the worm is known to have 1,000 life points and strikes on a roll of 1 or better with plus 50 damage, you can guess right away that you're in big trouble. A moment's thought will remind you that the only man ever to defeat the guardian worm was Uther Pendragon, King Arthur's father. And even then, he only managed it with the aid of the magical mirror shield. If you happen to have it, then turn to 55. Otherwise, die. It doesn't even say fight it. It just says, otherwise, just die.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it hits for plus 50 on a roll of 1.
Swifter than a speeding arrow, the monstrous worm strikes towards you, its huge mouth wide open to devour you, its tummy rumbling in horrid anticipation of the tasty little morsel you undoubtedly represent. But swifter still, you whip out the great mirrored shield of Uther Pendragon and set it between your frail frame and the attacking monster. At once, the worm halts its insane downward plunge, the green eyes widen in horror at the reflection of the shield. It roars. Old EJ drops from its mouth and falls in a plunge blade first into the ground, pressing the shield forward slightly.
Ah!
Shrieks the worm, backing off of it. Gaining confidence, you take another step.
Ah!
Presumably cries the worm. You make a sudden lunge.
Eek!
Screams the worm, turning tail and diving in like a submarine into the marshy soil. Cautiously, you peer around the shield. All is still, all is peaceful, and the worm is gone. With a sigh of relief, you set down the shield.
Gotcha!
Yells the worm, emerging out of the ground immediately behind you and fastening its great fangs on your ankle. If the shock of this surprise attack kills you, go to 14. Otherwise, if you like to admire the scenery, go to 76. I mean, let's go to 76. Savagely, you jerk your leg free of the worm's grip, skinning your ankle at the cost of 5 life points.
If this kills you, go to 14.
Swiftly you grab EJ, who spent the last few moments quivering blade first in the ground, and bravely you turn to face the dreaded worm, which has, however, lost an awful lot of life points already on account of seeing its own reflection in the shield. It has, in fact, only 40 life points left, and is so weakened that it can only bite with plus 2 damage on a 6 or better. All right.
We have 33 HP, so I feel like this is pretty good for us.
Well,
also,
he has initiative.
They
so
do. Sorry,
probably. I got a 6.
Does he? Does he have initiative? He struck first already.
Oh, shoot. Oh, wait, I guess you're right. Aw. He doesn't even have initiative. I was trying to make it seem like he had a fighting chance for the drama of it, but he's
no. We had the artifact, you see.
Yeah.
We will use the artifact, the minor amulet. That's the one I'm talking about, right? This is really going to help us through this fight, even if he had 100,000 HP. And we don't use the charge of the amulet yet because it's only on your first successful blow.
Okay.
He basically has initiative.
Chomps back with a 7 for 3 damage.
Takes us all the way down to 30. How dare he? Get him, EJ! And get him, EJ does. And we had 40. They now have 29 remaining after taking 11 points of damage.
All right. That's a worm eyes.
Perfect. Striking back with EJ. You know what? We take the direction and try and strike at the worm eyes. And good lord, do we ever! That's an 11 on the dice, which is 7, 5, 12. Taking the enemy down to 17 as we blind its left eye.
And it chomps back for a 9, which is a 7 damage. Right? Wait.
23 HP? Wait, he only does plus
5.
2.
Yeah.
Yes. 25 HP. It's not possible that we take him out with this swing, but if this goes okay, the next one will do it. This went fine, I guess. For a total of 8. Never mind, takes the enemy down to 9 HP. All we need is another successful swing.
That is a 7, which is a whopping 3 damage.
We're going to be hobbling away from this one, but we will, importantly, be hobbling away from this one. And that will do it. The enemy is left on 1 HP, is left rendered unconscious, and noting the insane danger that this worm actually poses to us, even left alive, we just thrust EJ slightly further and finish him off.
Yeah.
That's our 10th point of experience.
Pop. No sooner have you lopped off the final life point than the worm begins to rot, creating a pong thick enough... What?
It's a bad smell.
Oh. Huh. I've never heard that I've never heard that.
It's very outdated.
So I wonder why that is in this book then. Thick enough to cut with a knife and spread on moldy bread. You step back choking, but fortunately a wind springs up, carrying away the smell. With the worm fallen to pieces, you can see the partly digested leather pouches on the ground. With one bound, you scoop them up.
Yuck!
Complains EJ.
Oh, I hope you're gonna wash your hands after handle that lot.
But you ignore him, since an adventurer often has to do grotty things no ordinary squeamish mortal would have to face up to. You open the first pouch and discover 2 vials of healing potion, each containing 6 doses. Woo! And quickly you open up the second gem pouch and discover 20 gemstones, each worth 1,000 gold pieces. Half mad with excitement now, you reach for the third pouch. Wait a minute, Pip. You know what it's like on these adventures? The minute things are going really well, sometimes something always comes up to zap you. You really want to open up the third pouch? If so, 79. Otherwise, proceed with your healing potions to Glastonbury Tor on 99. I mean...
You never leave loot, right?
79. There's a pulsating horror gem in there. One of the most dangerous natural elements in the known universe. A living gemstone that, when squeezed in just the right way, will first pulsate, then explode with ferocious power to destroy absolutely everything in a 10-foot radius. This one has certainly been squeezed, since it's pulsating at this very moment, but will it explode? Roll a die. 5 or below 5, 87. 5 or 6, turn to 94. Oh, God. You want to roll it?
Sure. That's a 6.
I rolled a 2, thank God. All right. Turn to 94, which I can assume is the good one. Fizzle. Well, looks as though it's settled down again and stopped pulsating, which means it's safe enough at the moment. You can leave here if you wish, or take it with you as a fearful weapon. The only problem being, using it as a weapon, you must throw 1 die, score below a 5, and the rotten thing will blow up in your face and killing you. 5 or 6, and it will kill anything, zap anything you're facing. I mean, we might as well take it.
Yeah.
Like, you use it exactly when you would die otherwise on the final boss.
Exactly.
That's the use case for that. Now, with or without the horror gem, you toddle off onto Glastonbury Tor on 99. You reach the foot of Tor, the winding path leading upwards. From this vantage point, you can see Tor itself is crowned with a ring of standing stones surrounding what appears to be a small wooden building. You follow through the path with twists and turns through broken remains of what was obviously a stone-built maze at one time, but is now little more than a ruined trace of its former glory. Eventually, you reach the summit and another decision. Investigate the standing stones on 121 or wooden building on 150.
So we know from the Wizard Cran that it is the megalithic structures up here, which is to say those made of stone that we need to go to in order to try and dismiss this curse. So do we want to go direct, or do we think that there might be a qualifier we want elsewhere?
I think it sounds... I think that maybe that hint with the stones would be to go straight there, is kind of how I'm taking it. I don't know.
Sounds good enough to me.
So that's page... Oh, shoot, I scrolled. Where was I?
121.
121. You approach cautiously, having learned in the past to be careful about standing stones.
Which always seem to produce magical effects. Not all of them particularly safe or pleasant.
These stones form a circle about 9 feet in diameter. Sure enough, there is a mild blue glow within the circle like a cloud of faintly luminous mist. Apart from this, the place seems quite deserted. Are you ready to risk entering that mist, Pip? You can do so on 107 or go back to that room. I mean, I say let's do it. Right? You regretting it because we can't go back to the house now?
Not especially.
Is it 107 or?
I'll tell you what's happening in my head. Is there additional information elsewhere that would have told us at this point, hey, if you want to get through mist safely, you better have a rubbed green stone on you? Like, Is there anything like that we should consider? Because the only artifact we can really interact with at this point uniquely would be the green stone. We also didn't need the universal key, as it turned out, for anything yet.
Maybe we will. Probably
Let's
will.
Go to
because
107.
It's... Maybe we'll be happy we have it, because that was from Cran, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we'll need it. I don't know. Since it's from Cran, it seems like it would be stupid to not need it. All right, 107. That's Tornit.
107.
As you step into the mist, the stones suddenly begin to revolve as if they were on a giant turntable. As you watch, they move faster and faster, blending into a blur that you seem to be surrounded with a circular wall. You try and step back out of the mist, but can't. It moves with you now and thickens, so that you can no longer see the revolving stones. You're finding it difficult to breathe, and your limbs begin to feel heavy as lead. You no longer want to move out of the mist, and any movement now is too much effort. You feel your eyes drooping. This is ridiculous. You're starting to fall asleep. Good grief, a trip to the nighttime is the last thing you need at the moment. Nevertheless, you're definitely wilting, finding it harder and harder to keep from nodding off. You sit down on the cold ground. The better to think and discover you simply cannot fight this force any longer. The prospect of a nice long kip fills your horizons. You lie down, ignoring the chill, and cradle your head on your arm. Eyes finally close, and just as the suspense becomes unbearable, you find you have to turn to 141. You're looking down at the scrunched-up sleeping figure of a young adventurer, blithely keeping near a ring of standing stones. There is something painfully familiar about the figure, and as you look closer, you realize with a horrid shock that it's you. Have you died? This doesn't look at all like the dreaded 14.
Although 141 is close in a peculiar way.
You look around and realize that you're floating in the air, a very peculiar sensation, although not at all unpleasant. But how'd you get here? And perhaps more importantly, how do you propose to get down again? There's a mist rising from the standing stones. It rolls towards you like a bank of fog. You examine yourself and find that you're much the same as always. Same clothes, same equipment. Really? Same equipment? Really? Same? Same? No. Old EJ seems to have changed. His blade has turned golden.
I say, EJ, you don't suppose to happen to know what's happened to us?
You ask.
I'm not paid to think.
EJ tells you grumpily.
But since you've asked my opinion for once, I'd say we're probably an astral projection.
Astral projection?
Merlin used to do it when he was younger. It's like when you leave your body and roam around like a ghost. Stupid occupation, if you ask me.
The rolling mist is nearer.
But what's the point of it?
You ask.
Search me.
EJ says, shrugging his crosspiece.
I'm a sword, not a philosopher. I think Merlin did it because it made him feel high. Silly old fool.
The mist is almost upon you now, and to your amazement, you notice there is a door in it.
EJ, can you see anything in that mist?
You mean the door? Of course I can see it. Come on.
The mist halts, the door looming directly in front of you. This is weird. If you want to go through the door, turn to 162. If not, the situation will take its course on 188.
Okay, so I will say that what Wizard Kran also told us was that we needed to seek the astral plane, as that was the origin of this curse. It was a very quick throwaway line of his.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine the way that we get there is by astral projecting.
I say, yeah. 162
let's open the
sounds
door.
good to me. Yep. What an incredibly strange environment. You're standing on a vast, flat plain.
And a quick glance behind you will be all that's needed to convince you that the door through which you have entered has disappeared, replaced by a towering and almost unclimbable cliff.
Before you stretches a network of paths, interlinking a series of glittering misty spheres, the diameter of one approximately double your own height. High above, a blue sun hangs motionless in a cloudless sky. You attempt to step forward and fall flat on your face, but a cunning adventurer like yourself will soon work out how to get around here, although it's quite complicated until you're used to it. First, look at the picture on page 203, which shows the path and network and the spheres.
And also tells you you're on the astral plane, incidentally.
None of the spheres is numbered, but 8 of them have letters, with the relevant section numbers given in a key to the side. To travel to the astral plane, you must roll 2 dice and check the result against the table below. What? Okay.
It explains them, thankfully.
Okay, 203. Scroll.
What? Oh, yes. 203 would be the astral plane itself.
Yes.
If you would like to check that out, I can continue the explanation text.
Yes, please do.
As you can see, some scores take you directly to a sphere, And if those are the scores that you get, you should turn directly to the section number indicated on the key. If, however, you score a 6, a 9, or a 12, you develop the abilities of an astral pathwalker for 2 sections. That means when you arrive in a sphere, you have the option of walking a path to another sphere, and when your business is finished in that sphere, walking one more path to yet another. Each pathwalker score allows you to walk only 2 paths. After that, you lose your pathwalking abilities again until you roll a 6, a 9, or a 12. If the dice direct you to the same sphere twice, you will find that whatever you did there the first time has made no difference. The sphere and anything in it remains absolutely unchanged. It all sounds very complicated, but roll your dice and see what happens.
Okay.
3, which is the Sphere B. Sphere B takes us to page 122.
Just getting this over to my Microsoft Paint. 122. Okay. You're standing on a paved platform some 50 feet square to the north, which a giant granite throne of which is seated a 6 feet tall, purple-robed stick insect. Its head turns slowly to you, which regards you with multifaceted eyes.
Reach not for your puny sword,
It tells you in imposing tones.
for I am the Pontiphilus Maximus, and immune to all earthly weapons.
Hey, who you calling puny, huh?
EJ hisses.
Do you know anything about the curse that was cast on Camelot?
You ask bravely. But the Pontiphilus Maximus ignores you.
In order to leave this place, you must solve a puzzle which has perplexed the minds of the universe for centuries. Failure means instant death. Are you ready?
If you want to try and solve the puzzle which has perplexed the great minds of the universe for centuries, turn to 173. If you fancy your chances at slaughtering this long, thin idiot, whatever he says about being immune to earthly weapons, you can start a fight on 201.
I have to imagine he's right about that. But also, for what it's worth, I imagine that EJ is not necessarily an earthly weapon. He glows gold here.
Yeah, it's true.
The
I wanna
puzzle is
know
probably
the
going to be...
puzzle.
What is 1 + 1?
It feels
be
like
so
it's setting up
dumb.
that energy, yeah. So 173.
Oh, what is the puzzle, oh mighty Maximus?
You call grandly, grabbing EJ's pommel sneakily in the half hope you might get a quick stab at some stage.
The puzzle is this.
Intones the purple-robed creature gravely.
Where can one get a prehistoric creep machine these days?
You stare at him open-mouthed. If you happen to have a prehistoric creep machine with you, turn to 158. If you don't, okay. We have one, so on 158.
158. You want this?
Go with my blessing.
Exclaims the purple-robed PM, waving one hand grandly towards your available weapons, which are as follows. If you arrive at the sphere direct or as a pathwalker with no further ability left, roll 2 dice. Score anything other than a 6, 9, or 12. Go to the indicated section on the key on 162, 6. What the hell? If you have now become a pathwalker. What does that mean, Reps? What is a path? What?
So a pathwalker would have been if instead of rolling 3 to get here, we had rolled a 6, a 9, or a 12, and we had made our way here.
Okay.
Indirectly, rather, like traversing the actual astral
And if you
plane.
have now become a pathwalker. Okay, so that's after we roll this.
Yes, exactly. So... that's a 7. We're not a pathwalker, but we do have a path
Okay.
to walk. 129.
Okay. By the... I'm afraid of... Is this allowed... Am I allowed to say this next... the haggis-infested what? Am I allowed to say that?
Sporan.
Okay. Just sometimes I'm afraid with this old book, you know? I'm like, is this outdated in a bad way? Of St. Andrew. You're under attack already. You had only just time to register the fact that you arrived at the edge of a broad but shallow lake when the Hooberk came racing across the water on its great long skinny legs, flapping its residual wings and clacking its beak in the most alarming manner. 35 life points, strikes on a 5 or better for +3 damage, so the hassle might not prove too dangerous for an adventure of your skill. courage, and experience. Unless, of course, it lays an egg should you happen to miss 3 strikes in a row. It gives it time to lay. It'll hatch instantly, produce a second fully grown one. Oh my god. Okay, so it is just a 5.
Let's not miss 3 times.
It gets a 5 for initiative.
He goes first.
Cool. That is a 5, which is a hit for 3 damage.
Mm-hmm. Takes us down to 19 HP. Possibly we might have wanted to consider healing. Oops, oops, oops. It's okay. We'll win this fight.
There's so many potions,
Not rolling
too.
like that, though. Yeah, exactly. No kidding. 7 damage back to the Hoopbeck, leaving it on 28.
That is a 4. We are clean for this round. If it misses 3 times in a row, we lay an egg.
And that becomes a fully grown, instantly version of us.
Yep.
Perfect. We strike back for a total of 10, taking the enemy to 18. Ha ha ha! We now have more life points than you.
They roll a hooper, guys. I'm killing it today with being unlucky. If I was playing D&D with my rolls today, I'd be mad.
Mm-hmm.
But since I'm the enemy, I'm happy.
It works very, very perfectly. And we strike back for another 10, leaving the enemy on 8 remaining HP. Whew.
Okay, well, that's an 11. So, we die.
For
That's-
9 total damage to us, takes us down to 10 remaining. And then as long as we hit, we're fine. And baby, do we ever hit. In fact, we instantly slay it. We don't even get it unconscious.
Pop.
I'm
Yeah,
just
healing
gonna
potion until we're at full.
chug a lug.
I got an 11.
7.
Use that one.
18. And then another charge.
I got a 9.
28.
9. So subtract 2 charges and add 20 health from me. That's banging. And what are we at?
37. We overhealed a little bit. We're on 42.
Whatever. I mean, we have so many charges, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, exactly. We have, I think, 9 full charges of the health potion left.
We risked shooting ourselves with a wand gun so many times instead of taking the safe potions.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our reward
we have
for it.
now all these safe potions. Exactly.
Exactly.
We survived the encounter, so it's time to roll for Pathwalker. That's a 7, which would actually take us back here.
So we just roll it again.
Yep, nothing has changed. 6. Oh, we're Pathwalkers!
You may now walk the path west to 151 or east to 181.
So, we definitely want to go west as much as we like east, because do we? Maybe we're trying to get to D, the center of the plane. Maybe we're trying to get to F, the final entry in the plane.
Yeah, or maybe we're trying to get to one of the big weird empty sections somewhere on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Of which neither of these would matter anyways.
I think because D gives us easy access to the eastern route here, we should still take the 151. Walk west.
Okay. 151. Cold in here. The dome above your head is crystalline, and the temperature, since you stepped into the glittering sphere, has taken a distinct drop, in fact, downright freezing. You move forward, beginning to feel numb, ice crystals forming on the air ahead like a curtain of fine snow, so it's quite difficult to see where you're going, but your adventurer's luck holds, for you quickly stumble on a platform of worked stone on which stands a glittering metallic box with 3 levers set into the lid. A brass plaque on which one side identifies the box as a weather machine, which speaks for itself, except that the instructions on second brass plaque beneath the first don't seem to make all that much sense. They say,
Instructions! Warning! Incorrect use is dangerous. Warning! Use only correct lever to activate. Warning! Use of wrong lever may prove fatal. Notice, the only correct lever will link these words. Dead
ahead?
Something forward.
It's make your mind up time, Pip. If you pull the left lever, go to 166. Pull the center, 187. If you pull the right lever, go to 194. What? Only the correct lever will link these words.
Dead and forward are linked by either like 1, 2, or 3, or left, right, and center.
Dead center? That's all I got.
Yeah, dead center. Is center forward like a really important position in football?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because like there's also dead right, but right forward makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's try 187. Dead center.
Alrighty.
Center forward is game.
It's getting warmer. By Jove, that was a close call. Luckily, the most intelligent adventurer to stumble into the place since Bert Einstein in 1903. Stamp your feet and blow on your hands, and then let's get out of here before the machine breaks down again. We should theoretically have one more planeswalking ability, right?
We do indeed.
Because we can go 1, 2. Yeah, where do we think?
I mean, so south would take us to F, but we can also just get to F by rolling 8 when we're planeswalking anyway.
Yeah, I think we do the
I
one
guess,
that's slightly harder.
Yeah, because like north is further from more things
Yeah,
than any of the rest of them.
I agree. We're
Which I
looking
guess
at
is
a big
technically
page,
north,
which is just like a bunch
northwest.
of bubbles connected through by lines. It's strange. So wait, north is, oh god, which page?
North is 202.
Clunk. The familiar sound of a soft head hitting a hard object in this case, your soft head. Oh my god. Your soft head, although the hard object is an invisible force field around this glittering sphere. If you're wearing the Amulet of Sarabanda, turn to 211. Well,
We're not wearing the Amulet of Sarabanda. So we go all the way down to, if you don't have the amulet at all, then the blow on the head will kill you within 18 seconds. Wait 18 seconds, then go to page 14.
Death 2.
wait, we died?
Yeah, absolutely. We got clunked on the head, you see.
No, I mean the other time. I didn't remember dying a different time.
Oh, yeah, that was the first time we visited. I don't remember what it was, but it was just an instant kill.
All right, so we'll start in here again. I'm going to roll one.
Mm-hmm. Do it.
I got a 6, which...
You're a planeswalker, buddy.
Does that mean we can go anywhere? If we...
No. I
anywhere
believe
from a node?
It starts... Yes, I believe it starts you off in a certain node.
My heart's telling me we go to like A and then we traverse into the unknown to the east, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nodes that are all like untethered from letters.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. 120. You're standing on a soft turf around which rises a golden glittering dome, but before you can spend too much time admiring it, your attention is taken by a crouching creature no more than 10 feet away, shaped for all the world like a 4-legged giant spider with the face of a cat. Each ends in a large claw.
Caw, caw.
Remarks the creature and scuttles towards you. What we have here, Pip, is a crawman.
You can tell by its distinctive call.
It's slow, having only 1 strike every 2 of yours, but has 40 life points, natural body of armor, deducting 4 from successful blows against it. And I guess strikes for neutral on a 6?
Yeah, seems it.
Weird.
All right. Initiative roll.
6. It's very ready.
It's way faster than us.
It's very ready to do almost nothing. It gets a 5 and misses.
Oh, that's perfect. Time to attack it twice. Attack number 1. That's a 7, which would be 3 plus 5 damage. So it's 8. So it's 4. Enemy loses 10% of their life points. And we get a second strike. Boo, 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 boo. Oh, that's a little bit better. That'll be 6 damage to them, taking them down to 30.
All right. Goes for a whopping 5. Nothing.
Perfect. Oh! Furthest possible from Snake Eyes, baby. That's 12. That's going to be 3 more damage than previous. So 9 total after the armor reduction, taking them down to 21. They are not yet bloodied, but this next strike could certainly do it, and it certainly does. That's another 6 damage. 15 HP remain.
All right. He gets a 6. But that's nothing. This guy, why did they do this? There's like, let's make a tedious bad fight. He is not strong at all. He attacks every 2 times for basically nothing.
Hey, it's
I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. It's good enough for us in this position where it's working perfectly. We do another 4 damage, taking the enemy down to 11 before what is possibly the final swing, if we should happen to roll well. Never mind. That's another 3 damage, taking the enemy down to 8.
All right. Come on, get what?
Another 6.
He crit. He was biding his time for a crit of 6 damage, which is which was some other people's like 7.
Yeah, some people got that on like a 6.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do enough to make this man unconscious.
Bow, 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 bow.
And 1 more point of expa.
All right, and now we can walk southwest or southeast to 133. I was thinking we go to the east side of the map.
I like it.
All right, so that's 133. The path stops abruptly at a towering Gothic gateway, which is, however, slightly ajar. Never one to miss an opportunity to get into trouble, you slip in through a gloomy stone-lined chamber. You stand for a moment, waiting for your eyes to adjust to the light, and gradually make out a brass-bound chest nestling invitingly against the far wall. It's only then, when you make a step towards it, that you realize there are 3 spooky guardians in here. This could be good news or bad news, depending on whether you happen to be carrying a spooky basher. If you are, 3 quick cracks in a row on a 6 or better would be all it takes to demolish all 3. If you're not, you're going to have to fight them the hard way. Each spooky has 30 life points. Strike successfully on a 4 or better. Does plus 3 damage. Throw a 12 by them. Indicates you're paralyzed for a combat round and must miss a hit. Okay. All right.
Which makes it a straight up initiative roll against them. Huh. 6.
6. What? 1.
3.
You go.
All right, spook. Have a bit of this. Yeah.
I really need to just internalize what damage 7 is for EJ. It's 3 above base value, and then it's plus 5. That's 8 damage against the first spook.
Right. Okay. That is a 6, which is a hit of 5.
No. Yes, 5. Yes,
Yeah,
that's 5.
They hit on a 4.
Sorry.
How dare you question me? It's not like I've been getting my math wrong.
How dare they hit us? Oh boy. We barely strike back with the base damage of EJ rolling a 4. Enemy is now down on 17.
All right. That is going to be a 4, which is a hit. It's 3 damage.
28 HP remain on us. EJ is, oh my gosh. Minimal damage again. We roll another 4 for 5 damage against the spook.
Okay, well, I mean, they roll a 3. So we get something.
I love a free round.
Ooh, and we exploit the free round reasonably. We roll back with an 8 for 9 damage against the enemy, and that is the first one. Down. Second spook.
That is going to be a 7. So that is 6 damage.
Okay. Starting to feel nervous. We're down on 22. Ugh. Another 8 damage to the enemy from our 7 swing on EJ. I know it's the most common one, but I'm still to see it.
Alright. Gonna be a 5, which is a 4 damage hit from the spooky.
They very much are. Oof.
That's the double 6s.
We take
That's
the double
8
sixes.
plus 5. 13. Enemy is down on 9 HP remaining.
That is another 7, which is another 6 damage. That's not good.
No, it is not at all. The enemy's on 14 HP. If this hits at all, which it does, the enemy is down. 1 remaining.
How much health?
It's on 30 HP, and we're on 14.
Okay, well, that's going to help a little, I guess, being a 5. So that's 4 damage.
We're on 10 HP. So you can't roll a 6 or above, otherwise we go to the ground state. Do we want to consider the horror gem?
Not really. I mean, worst case, we start over in this zone. You know, we save stated in this zone, and I think that's fine.
6 damage to the enemy. Not everything we want to see, but it's a sixth of their health nonetheless. A fifth, I think, actually, sorry.
Wait, how much health do they have left?
24.
Oh, boy. It's a 3? That's a 1.
3 doesn't hit us. Oh, 4
Yeah,
total,
sorry.
right?
Yeah, sorry. I buried the lead.
It's okay. We live for another swing, but they need to miss their next one.
Okay.
Yeah, they have no ability to hit us without making us unconscious now.
Well, okay.
A 9 will give us a total of 10 damage to the enemy, leaving them on page 14. Hopefully we don't visit that soon.
Oh, boy. That's 2. And... not a 2. And not a 1. That's a 6.
That's about as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
Death another time.
Which leads us to... I don't know. Do we say we come back to this scenario for the sake of... yeah, not running through the whole rigmarole again? What
Yeah, for the
where
sake
do
of
we
not
put
having to
ourselves?
randomly roll until we get to one of the new pages, I suspect we should just be here, and I'm gonna
Have
make
died.
the yes, executive mental call of we've already killed 2 of these. I understand that is not how the game intended it, but it does work significantly better for the flow state at the end of the podcast. So, one spook is here and is like, "Didn't I kill you?"
And okay, you wait. Initiative is well,
6.
one. So okay, well,
Get him! Hit for exactly 5 damage.
rolls back with a 7, hitting for a 7. Wait, no, what? 6 damage.
Perfect. That'll be another 8 back to the enemy. Hell yeah, taking me down to 17.
That is a 5 over here, doing 4 damage.
We're down on 40 HP. We had more max HP than our previous life did. That's another 8 as well, which is 9 damage to the enemy, leaving them on 8 HP. Okay, perfect. Next hit'll take him.
Yeah, that's a big old 4 to finish out. So 3 damage.
4. Chomps us for a little bit of HP, but unless we roll the world's worst, and we do not, we chomp the enemy for the remaining of theirs.
Oh, but I thought you... What? Hang on. How? What?
All right, and then we get to move on to open a treasure chest on 168.
It's the amulet.
It's full of sawdust. Furiously, you scrabble your way into it like a dog bearing a bone, making an unholy mess of the process, but sawdust is all there is. Disgust as you turn away. The thought strikes you. You turn and examine the chest again. Sure enough, it has a false bottom using EJ.
Hey, you're not gonna use me as a screwdriver, are you?
Protests EJ. As a screwdriver, you open the secret compartment. Nestling therein is a delicate emerald amulet on a silver chain. Besides, it is a parchment scroll which identifies the piece as the amulet of Sarabanda. And a valuable find it may be, although the ink on the parchment is faded so much you can no longer read the magical instructions pertaining to the amulet. Better decide now whether you want to wear it, carry it,
Unlikely choice, knowing you.
or leave it here. I guess the question to wear it or carry it.
I mean, we should wear it, as we have already visited the page that says if you're not wearing it,
true.
go to hell.
So let's wear it. Do you have objections for us going there and figuring out?
Not especially, no. That would have been...
Like, otherwise we roll. Because we know where it is.
Exactly.
And then we can figure out whether or not we need to... Because this could be the big thing that we needed. So 129 takes us to 151.
Which is the weather machine, so I don't think it's that.
Which takes us to 187. Wait, am I wrong?
Yeah, this is not the path that we were on contiguously for that. It was from E, which was 129. Yeah. And then we went, oh, you're right, 151. And then north to, was it 202? 151. We survived the
202.
Liverpool on 187. And
202.
Yeah, 202. Cool.
Clunk, familiar sound of a soft head hitting a hard object. If you're wearing the amulet, turn to 210.
And we are.
Grabbing your amulet, you step into the glittering sphere and into an edifice made of a crystal and silver which soars above your head like a Gothic cathedral. A central aisle between two colonnades of crystal pillars leads to a tapestry curtain which effectively conceals the northern end of this great chamber. The tapestry itself is interesting, depicting as it does a series of adventurers being torn limb from limb by monsters, falling down traps, over and over cliffs, setting off infernal machines, being melted by magicians, falling foul of fiends, and many other alliterative disasters. On the center panel of the tapestry has been embroidered a single sentence.
Welcome to the Chaos Factory.
But before you can become too engrossed by this intriguing message, your attention is attracted by the pitter-patter of tiny feet. And you look to your left to see 7 little girls tripping towards you, each delightfully dressed in floral print with newly washed white bobby socks. Their happy, well-scrubbed faces gleam beneath the large pastel pink bows in their hair, which almost hide their cute little horns. Horns? They begin to circle around you, eyes vulpine and watchful.
Hello, little girls.
You call warily.
Who are you? The Seven Sisters.
Remarks one sweet child, spitting on the floor and wiping her nose with the back of her hand. The remaining 6 set to howling like wolves, a spine-chilling sound that sets your teeth on edge.
I do wish you'd stop that.
You say,
So do I.
remarks EJ. The little girls stop howling and begin to dance around you in a circle like witches, chanting some curious ditty about plague pits and charnel houses.
We're going to get you.
One calls.
And if we don't, our daddy will.
Adds another.
Now, look here.
You begin firmly, but the little girls have already started their attack. Whatever the rules of chivalry may say about fighting little girls, these sisters are going to tear you limb from limb unless you defend yourself. 6 have 10 life points. Strike on a 5 and do +3. The 7th has 20. Strikes on a 4, does +5 horn damage. And will kill you immediately on a roll of 12. Okay.
Okay.
Here comes
Initiative roll.
that's a 3.
That's a 5. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so each of them have 10 life points each.
That
So
should
as
be
long
a
as I
hit on,
hit-
yeah.
Yeah, they go down. I have great news.
You killed the
One
little
down.
girl. Congrats.
I murdered it. Yes.
Congrats. So we shift back. So that is going to be a 5. So that's 3 damage.
34 HP remains. That hits for exactly 5 damage. Guess who's unconscious? It's you.
Another one's so sad seeing these 2 sisters get mowed down. Misses on a 4.
We follow suit on the 4, not on the missing, and take her out in response. That's the 3rd down.
The next one gets another 5. So that's 3 damage.
Perfect. We're down on 31, but they're also down on the ground as we strike back with 6.
All right.
That's not enough, baby. Ooh, that certainly is, though. Another one of them goes down for the count. Ding, ding, ding. One final of the non-horned, and then the final horned.
All right. That is going to be an 8.
That's 6 damage to us. Down on 25. Do we hit back? We do indeed. Final sister. The 7th with 20 life points strikes on a 4 and has +5, as well as kills us outright on a 12. Don't do that.
All right. That is a 7. So that is... Oof. That's 8 damage.
Steep. We've got 17 life points left.
Does that kill him?
7 back to them for a total of also 8 damage, leaving them on 12.
All right. Rolled a 7, which was... Oh, God. I just did the math. It's 8 damage.
Ooh, yeah, from them. That's steep.
Yeah,
We're on 9 HP. However, most of our strikes should be enough to take out the final sister. Oh, and I see a 6 on one of these dies, and that helps confirm it. 4, 9, that is enough. Enemy has now a total of 3 HP remaining. They are unconscious.
Let's drink a lot of potions.
Chugga, 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 chugga. So how about you roll 3 health potions here, and I'll roll 2.
24.
Okay, so that plus my 13 is 37 on top of our 9, takes us to 46.
All right. Now you can swiftly move on to the next section to 11. With the lethal little sisters out of the way, you run forward and pull back the curtain, EJ at the ready. Behind it is one of the strangest sights you've ever seen, and perhaps the most disturbing. The entire northern section is chock-a-block with alchemical equipment, furnaces, retorts, alchemics.
Which, if you didn't know, are bulbous glass vessels.
And jars of every shape, size, and description. Merlin would be green with envy at the equipment, even that, though he might not entirely approve of what it's being used for, and the fairly obvious thing from the huge variety of books and manuscripts scattered round.
How to curse your neighbor. Hexes for beginners. Corn blighting and other experiments. The Voyage of Terror. So that's just one of the GrailQuest books in there. Nasty spells. The Wizard Anselm's Magical Vade Mecum.
And so on in great profusion. No wonder the Emperor noticed the description as the Curse Factory. It looks as if every bit of bother anyone's ever experienced in Avalon over the many long years has originated here. You stare about you looking for the perpetrator of all this unpleasantness, but what you see depends on whether or not you're wearing the bonkers helm. Turn to 219. We do not have the bonkers helm. To the left of the huge furnace stands an easel on which has been placed a scale map of Avalon. Looming over it is just the barest hint of a broad, near-transparent robed figure.
Halt!
You cry, drawing EJ with a flourish.
Halt, I say! Desist in your evil ways!
Bien.
The creature exclaims.
Know you not that I am the Phantom Grunweasel, the same Phantom Grunweasel that placed the dreaded curse on Avalon and cunningly managed to shift the blame onto that charlatan Kran who wouldn't know a curse from a sago pudding and who will be blamed for this just the same.
Not while I live!
You warn it. The Grunweasel giggles.
That might not be very long.
It says. A prophetic statement. The thing you have to worry about is the fireballs, which the Grunweasel can hurl on a throw of 6 or better, causing a massive 12 points of damage, irrespective of what the dice show. Whew. The PG's life points stand at 55. Its skin's so tough it'll act as a -3 armor throughout the entire ensuing combat. And since it's nearly invisible, you need to throw a 6 or better with even with EJ to hit it. If the Grunweasel kills you, which can happen even at this late stage of the adventure, go to 14. If you survive, go to... To lay the curse. Pull the pins out of the map to lay the curse and turn to the section labeled Pip Triumphant. Okay. This is frightening. We do have the Orb of Maybe Win for free that we will save probably for the worst of situations. If we are about to literally die.
Are we certain we're about to die?
I said if we are, like, literally, I'm saying the moment we would, if he rolls a 6 or better, we die this time.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. The Grunweasel rolls a 2, not for initiative.
Sorry, I've lost the page we're on.
219.
219, thank you kindly. Needs to throw a 6 or better even with EJ. And it's got a -3 armor. It's got 55 points of life, and it does 12 points if it hits on 6 or better.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't think statistically we can actually win this fight. It has more health. We have a much harder time hitting it. It does significantly more damage on almost any throw.
Yeah, it's just mathematically. We could just... Reps, do you want to use the orb?
The horror die. The horror gem, rather.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yes.
Based off of the roll... Let's play a game. Based off the roll that I just did right now. Based off the 2 rolls I just did right now. And just those 2.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do it?
Sorry, do I have to do something for the horror gem? Or were we
No,
not
I'm saying,
basing it off of your rolls?
Do you want to base it off my rolls? Do you the 2 rolls I just did? I want your approval?
I'm going to say yes because I do not recall what they were.
I didn't say. I got a 6, a 5, and then I rolled a third one out of curiosity for 3. So we won it 2 times over. If we want to toss it, we actually we have plot armor, or at least I have plot armor. I got a 2 and
I legitimately think we have to because I cannot see any other version of this that doesn't result in us definitely dying.
6.
Not definitely, but there's like 5% chance to win-ish.
6.
Like ballpark it.
6. What's going on? 2. I'm rolling
Lock in the 6.
2. I'm rolling 2s or 6s only. Well, and 5s. All right. So we throw our orb of kill immediately because this mathematically cannot be won by us. And looking over at the Bonkers Helm, the only thing that happens is we can hit on a 4, which makes a difference, but not really.
Also the Bonkers Helm would absorb half of the damage from the enemy.
Oh, okay, well.
Which, yeah, I mean, if they only do 3 damage, yeah, I think we would have been much finer in that combat.
They do 6 damage, but yeah. But like...
Oh, yeah, sorry, I double halved it.
Yeah. Either way, we're going to Pip Triumphant, baby, because we cheesed it, as has become quite necessary as we get further in the books.
It was exactly what you said, though. When we picked up the horror gem, we only used that in the situation where we would otherwise guaranteed die.
Yeah.
And we found that situation, and then we used it. That's how the game goes.
The thing is, and it's not like... It's not sitting here like, oh my god, you used the instant kill thing in the GrailQuest book. I think most of the time the instant kill things are supposed to be used on the final boss. That's like, your goal is to traverse the book to find the instant kill thing or the one thing that strictly counters the boss, like apparently this Bonkers helmet. And you're supposed to win that way. That's kind of like usually how you're supposed to win, it feels like. Like we had the dagger that instant killed that mummy. Or we have saved all of our spells up to kill Anselm. Like, I think that's just kind of the thing. It's like, what is going to be the thing? What's the MacGuffin? You know, like, it's like, aha, we're taking it. But,
before we move to the story conclusion, though, speaking of MacGuffins, I would really like to check out what the greenstone would do if we ever rubbed it.
Sure. Do we run it in like a alternate reality? This doesn't happen, but we check it.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. What page is that?
12.
A flash of light so brilliant that it blinds you, a puff of smoke so acrid that it chokes you, a crash of thunder so loud that it deafens you, a surge of energy so strong it leaves you speechless all for a second. You're right in a mess of short time.
Deaf, dumb, blind, and choking.
But fortunately, the light fades, the smoke clears, the noise stops, the energy forms into an 18-foot-long scaly green creature breathing down fire out of its nose. For an adventure, your experience can only be one thing, an alchemical green dragon. Careful, Pip. This brute will have your throat out as quickly as it looks at you. Green dragons have 40 life points, very bad breath, which does 10 points of damage on any successful hit. They also have an interesting bit of magic that allows them to, on a throw of 12, to transmute you into solid gold, instantly killing you. The point about this particular green dragon is that you can call upon it 3 times in all. This time being one of them. If you're lucky, it'll fight on your behalf during a battle each time you call it, but you have to be lucky. Roll a die, make a note of your score, roll again. And if you fail to roll higher the second time than the first, then it'll attack you right now and fight to the death. If you manage to roll higher the second time, then you can set it on anything that happens to be hassling you right now. Interesting. So that would have been another possible out of the boss. Because it has it has another instant kill. In my GrailQuest, an instant kill? Heavens.
Say it's not so.
Say it's not so. It's an instant kill one way or another, baby. Pip Triumphant, though. Down to the bots we go. The sun rose clean and clear over the rolling hills of Avalon. The first bright rays crept across the land, insinuating themselves into darker nooks and crannies, stealing over parched fields, illuminating farms and cottages, spotlighting the great battered Castle Camelot on the summit of Cadbury Hill, and finally stretching over a long finger into the window of a massive barrel nestled like a giant's plaything in the valley below. Merlin's eyes opened. He's been sleeping in his long johns.
All nightshirts having rotted.
In the bunk beneath the window, he rose at once, being by nature an early bird, and out of force of habit chanted the ancient druid spell which summoned him a newly laundered robe. And though the robe appeared... Merlin stared at it foolishly. None of his magic had worked properly,
if at all,
since the curse was laid on Avalon, and he'd not been a creature of habit. He would have been bothered with the clothing spell at all, yet there was a robe fresh and white with its mystical symbols glinting mischievously. Cautiously, Merlin opened a window and waved the robe outside. Usually it took only a moment for the rot to start, but by the time his arm tired, there was not a sign of the familiar mold or fungus. Frowning, Merlin pulled the robe over his head and went outside, and the air smelled fresh. Glancing upwards at the towering edifice of Camelot Castle on the hilltop, he noticed something odd. The fungus incrustations were dissolving, sliding off the hills and into the moat, leaving the towers and battlements as fresh as if they'd been newly washed. Slowly, thoughtfully, Merlin went back inside of his barrel to emerge moments later carrying a staff. He glanced at the castle again, then seemed to make up his mind with more haste than was seemingly possible for a man of his years. He began to climb the hill, using the staff as a walking stick. Meanwhile, in a gloomy corridor of the castle itself, the disillusion of the fungus had released King Arthur and his knights. They watched Gluck disappear with expressions of profound astonishment, but since they were pragmatists to a man,
and to a woman, since Guinevere was there as well,
they wasted no time looking for an explanation, but ran up the steps, weapons at the ready in order to face whatever perils the changed situation might bring. But there were no perils. The castle was in a very bad state, and there were many skeletons and corpses in its chambers, but nothing threatened, and throughout the building there were many others that had survived as well, trapped like the royal couple and their knights in the magical fungus which has preserved life as well as making it a monumental misery. Arthur took immediate charge, as was his way, organizing work parties to get the place cleaned up, inspection parties to ascertain the extent of the damage, guard parties to man the walls, cook parties to prepare the food, and so on in a hive of activity that rivaled the preparations for a royal wedding. When the fundamentals were underway, the king repaired the council chamber in the north tower,
the one that housed the Table Round,
and called a meeting of the knights to discuss the situation. It had only convened when a messenger reported the wizard Merlin was at the outer gate.
"Admit him at once,"
ordered the king, but the messenger looked uncomfortable.
"He won't come in. He says, begging your pardon, sire, but I'm only repeating what he said. He says you and the Knights of the Table Round should come out and go off with him to Glastonbury Tor."
"To where?"
frowned the king.
"The Tor,"
confirmed the messenger.
"that big haunted hump over by—"
Yes,
said the king brusquely.
"I know the Tor."
He frowned.
"Why on earth would Merlin?"
Yet he trusted the old wizard, weird though his habits may be, and decided without too much hesitation to humor him on this occasion. Thus it was the company of Knights of the Avalon headed by their king and queen,
for Guinevere insisted on coming to keep the men out of mischief,
rode out from Camelot through the countryside that was already turning green to the mysterious Tor, which had dominated the landscape around Glastonbury for more years than anybody cared to remember. Merlin, who disliked horses, walked beside the king, levitating occasionally in order to keep up, and refusing to answer questions until they'd reached the marsh around the Tor.
"Brave comrades,"
called Sir Lancelot.
"Noble sire, you must permit me to ride ahead so that in order I may risk my life in combats with the guardian worm which is known to bar passage to travelers of these parts."
"Oh, no need,"
growled Merlin,
adding, "pompous ass,"
under his breath.
"The worm's already been killed. We'll have no trouble here." "Killed,"
echoed King Pellinore.
"It would take an entire army to put down that brute. Or an exceptional adventurer,"
murmured Merlin. And at that point, light suddenly dawned, not on the king's knights, of course, or even the king, but on fair Queen Guinevere, who often appeared more intelligent than the whole company of the Table Round put together.
"You mean Pip, wise Merlin?"
she asked.
"I do indeed."
Merlin nodded.
"Look around you. Has not the curse been lifted? And is there any other in this land with enough skill, courage, speed, strength, intelligence, and handsome face to tackle a job like that?"
"Well, I don't know,"
Sir Lancelot began, but Merlin cut him short.
"No, of course there isn't. Only Pip could have done it."
He pointed dramatically.
"Only that brave person there."
They followed his gesture with their eyes. A tiny figure could have just made out walking down the spiral path, sword glinting in the sun.
"Oh, no.
That's never, Pip.
said Sir Lancelot, squinting. But he was talking to himself, King Arthur at their head. The remaining knights were galloping forward to give this hero a deserved reception. Ba-ba-ba-bam!
We did it!
Did it. And honestly, in decent time for a GrailQuest,
Yeah, record time for this series.
Well, yeah, maybe. Wait, I don't even remember. The first book was long, but not crazy long. But yeah, relatively compact, skipping lots of little, stuff here and there. But I think that's fine. I like when that's an option and it's not just do every page or else you can't succeed, because then it's like, well, why isn't it just a book then? In that setting. But I don't know. Yeah, you said the reviews were like pretty hard on this one. If it wasn't for like the couple mistranslated things, that even could be like a scan issue, in a way. Like,
it could well be a
so
scan
like
issue.
that,
Yeah,
that could be a scan issue and not the book itself.
The entrance to Tor, the 189, etc. I will say, like, the entrance to Tor, like, specifically invoking that you said the magic word, did mean that in 2 different instances where we were directed to that page, we thought we weren't meant to be there, despite the fact that in the future it proved we should have.
Yeah.
The only other thing that seems kind of like a little bit disjointed is the entire exploration of the dungeon in order to just relent and take a random pill that you found in a sack.
Yeah, but I think that we could have also looked at that like first of all, if we let the person out of the Iron Maiden, maybe we would know something more, maybe. But seeing as like that was kind of the treasure of that room that was really far deep in there, maybe we could have assumed quicker that it was probably going to be important. But I don't think it's great to teach kids to just take random pills that you find, but hey, maybe that's just me.
No, this was a little white pill, so it was probably fine.
It's true. It's probably fine.
All the bad ones are like off yellow or whatever.
That's true. They're pink. They have like a teddy bear on them or something.
Yeah, it's always something. It's a teddy bear. It's a rabbit. It's a little 4-leaf clover.
Yeah, it's something crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like thematically, I liked this one. I felt it was good. I could do without the and then you enter a new hallway, 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 and then you enter a new hallway. I didn't like that part, of course.
Yeah,
it's not very flavorful.
It feels like the
either.
series. Yeah, it feels like the series is a little. I will use the word obsessed here lightly, but a little obsessed with. Haha! Look at this confusing area. Isn't it confusing? Yeah, it is. I'm confused. Stop confusing me.
Yeah, it's like, I am confused. You're right. I am going to spend 30 minutes in just deciding if I want to go west, north, east, south until I get something that actually is interesting. You're right. You are right. You got me there. You got me there. But it was not that, like, percentage-wise, it was not actually that big of the book. It probably just felt like a big chunk, but percentage-wise, it probably wasn't that bad, really. But like flavor-wise, I liked a lot of stuff. I don't know. I thought it was still.
Yes.
I thought it was still good.
Like one of my favorite kind of like horror tropes, insofar as this kind of counts as a trope less than like a setting, is the overgrown fungus of it all. Is the creeping corruption that comes over an area that you already understand otherwise. The tentacle around the spire that has an eye on the side, and you're like, oh, I know the spire, but tentacle? What? Like that's. Yeah. It lives within my veins. As soon as it started to describe that being the landscape we were in, I was overjoyed.
Yeah. I like it when it feels like nature has won over buildings. It's just a fun, a fun aesthetic to me. But
reclaim it, Gaia.
Let's I was gonna say let's reclaim this episode, but when was it ever I don't know. I'm trying to segue. Sue me. Yeah, I don't. Any other thoughts on the book itself before we move on to our wrapping it ups?
Only that it seems like the book had made some accountances for previous weaknesses along the GrailQuest series, like the one that immediately comes to mind being 14, not even saying go back to the start of the adventure, blah, 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 saying, hey, save state to the location that you're in. So it really feels like the series has started to develop over the course of that time. As well, another example being the inventory system just straight up being given to you at the front as well. Like, it felt like they tried to develop past that and then realized, oh, no, wrong way. Let's go back.
Yeah. There's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But I mean, hey, all in all, I've been more frustrated by GrailQuest moments in the past than this one. Like you were mentioning, some people thought the last book was the peak. And I don't know. I feel like this is relatively. I really like the city part at the end of the last book. I really, really liked that.
That was a really good set piece.
The Blagan blog section. I could
the blog warts.
I could really like that holds the book up really highly in a way that, like, I don't know, nothing else from the book particularly I thought was better. I thought that the dice house mechanic was probably my least favorite mechanic in any of the books so far. So I'd put this like
also very interestingly flavorful.
It was very interestingly flavorful. I just didn't. Yeah, mechanically, it was had some weirdness to it, like knowing the feeling of knowing where the keys to your locks are, but it's behind a successful die roll is frustrating. Having it feel like it's a required thing, and this is just a game design mental gymnastics kind of a thing where it's like. In the sense, because you could say, well, but then why would you also be comfortable with rolling the pop yourself in the dome 1 so many times? Because that's not necessary. That is a calculated risk that we want to take.
Yeah, and exactly. That really randomness does not lie on the critical path of our story. Whereas having to go for the keys to the thing ahead does. I think, and in the weeks since, I thought, like, there is an alternative to the previous Pip House that I really would have enjoyed, which would have been, yes, it has all of those same options on it, so it's like a desperation option more than anything else, like it's a tough dream time that you can bring things back from, but there are other sources in the world where you can also go to loot rooms and find similar things.
Yeah, the Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds of it all, that's kind of a thing that game does. You can rent bad versions of every item that you need to successfully beat dungeons with, or you can just go and get them. Great game. Anyways, alas, I guess that's bring us to the wrap it up moment. So why don't you wraps it up and say who our sponsor is for today? Not sponsor.
Our sponsor for this episode is Something Scary, TM.
I was going to say Squarespace. I shouldn't say the word sponsor on a podcast when I mean supporter. There's completely different connotation.
Thank you, Something Scary, for sponsoring this episode. And if you would like to get a subscription to Something Scary, you can, of course, go to www.com/Rito and Raps. Remember to enter Rito and Raps at the end checkout so they know we sent you.
Yeah.
Thank you, of course, Something Scary, for supporting the Patreon over at patreon.com/TurnToPageCast.
Subscribe with code North and East to get a free box of the Something Scary box right in your mail every month. Honestly, Something Scary box. You know what? Something Scary? Take that idea. Something Scary box. It's an easy one too. You just put literally Something Scary in a box and send it to somebody every month. People do it. They'd be like, oh my God, what am I going to, is this just a normal Amazon package or is this scary?
I ran a business like that for a really brief period of time, but as it turns out, the authorities don't like it when you send anthrax consistently, so...
Yeah, they might do that. That might get
What's the matter, too spooky for you?
Yeah. Take a joke, why don't you? just take it to the grave,
just saying that directly down at a corpse.
Oh, dramatic. Bleh. Dying. Come on. It's a joke. Get a grip. It's a joke. Live a little. Oh.
Can't anybody take a joke these days?
It's just always those. Wow. Oh, man. Anyways, GrailQuest, if you want to help support the series in a free way, well, first of all, the Patreon is patreon.com/turntopagecast. If you want to help sponsor a video in which we will maybe do a super funny riff on your name like we just did, you can get that by supporting over on Patreon at the hardcover tier or higher. Otherwise, you can also support for free just by like subscribing on YouTube is probably the easiest place to think about doing that. Subscribing on YouTube, liking the videos, commenting on the videos. Those are like great free things you can do to help it as well. And you can also just join a conversation. It's going to be over there as well in the comments section. As a podcast, it's kind of like hard to get it's so nebulous. It's hard to get a firm place to communicate about it. I think that's probably the best place is the YouTube comments. But alas, that's that. It's going to do it here for today for GrailQuest Book 6. We got 2 left at this point. We're on our way out. Oh, boy. But thank you, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Adios.